Everybody, how are you all doing today? Are we ready to hopefully fight Takano behind the Wendy's? Because I know I am. However, I know that we left off at a part where it's just like, hey, here's some more backstory. It's the last game. You need a little bit more backstory. Also, today, while I was getting the little picture for today's Twitter post ready, I found out there is a prequel manga. I think it's a manga anyway. It could be a novelization, I'm not sure. But it's a prequel that's starring Oreo, the old hag. So that's interesting. It's basically one where it's like in the past, I guess. I don't really know. Also, my window capture is just wanting to capture a screenshot of OBS, so that's always good. There we go. I have to do it as a game capture today, but that's okay. Either way works. As long as everything is visually there, It works. Okay.
You could probably hear the Higurashi crying, so let's go on over here and join them. Okay.
And yes, again, we left off on some backstory stuff, but it was at the very beginning of it. So
Tometake finally gave in and admitted everything. In his place, I explained to them the existence of Hinamizawa syndrome, the Erie clinic that was established to research it, what's special about myself, and finally, about the invisible conspiracy that revolves around it all. Oishi was very surprised to hear about all this, but Akasaka told him to calm down, so he listened quietly. Since Akasaka belongs to a special unit, he wasn't too surprised. He kept nodding, saying that it was all very possible. This is working out great for me. Apparently this oh no, really? 2 characters are being invisible this time! I don't... Okay, it is Akasaka saying this first. Just as you say, Rika-chan, there's a good chance there are some people who are planning something like that. Oishi-san, what they're saying is well within the realm of the possible. This feels like the plot of a novel. But if it's true... Compared to Akasaka, who had a flexible mind, Oishi is having a hard time understanding such unrealistic stories. He'll probably need at least 3 cigarettes before he can digest what he just heard. We can just assume that she was talking about this for the past, 20 hours. I think Takano is suspicious, but there is no proof. I was asking Tometake to investigate so that way I can confirm my suspicions.
Oishi-san, can you arrest and detain Takano on a separate charge? I don't know what face I'm making. I may lose my retirement money for that, but it could be done, I guess. There are some counterintelligence members from the Mountain Dogs at the police station. Even if you try, Oishi-san, there will be pressure from within the department. I'll conduct an investigation on Takano-san, so if possible, can you leave it to me? I don't want anyone to get suspicious. You're right. If Takano's investigation can only be done by Tometake-san's institution, then the police shouldn't bother him. Besides, I have a feeling that this is a lot bigger than we think. Oishi-san, I don't mean to sound rude, but maybe you should stay out of this. Akasaka-san, what do you mean by that? Just like you told me earlier, you're retiring this year, right? You've worked hard for many years. You're about to collect your pension. Money is important. You'll need it to pay off your house, and you need money for life after retirement. But this hill's too dangerous to climb. My instincts are telling me that at the end of it, the case will be classified, as if it didn't take place at all. In other words, unless I'm prepared to lose everything, I better pull myself out of this, right? That's what you're trying to tell me, isn't it? Yes. I know I'm not in a position to tell you that, but I've been involved in cases that are much different from regular police work, so what I'm saying now comes from experience. Oishi was no fool. He was also an adult and smart in a real sense. If he only listened to his pride, he would yell at Akasaka for insulting him, but what Akasaka is saying is true. Oishi's pension is a big deal for him. People live far beyond their retirement. They still have 10 or even 20 years left after that. Their pension is the basis for that second life. A pension isn't ordinary money. It's very, very valuable. People receive their pension for working hard on rainy days and windy days, and even during the moments when their bosses give them a hard time. Even Oishi has mumbled on occasion that he's going to quit and look for a new job. Yet, he's endured, and quietly did the unreasonable work asked for him. He's endured far more work than his salary merited. He's worked like that for a very long time, and now he's finally about to retire. He's finally about to collect his long-awaited pension. It's not about the amount of money itself. It's about having a value placed on what you've done with your life. So, if one were to cause a scandal, the punishment for that would be placed on his pension. One such deplorable event can erase Oishi's entire life as a policeman. Pardon me, that's not something that can be treated lightly. Akasaka is still young. Even if he loses his job, he will be able to find a new one. But Oishi is too old. Oishi is too old. The repayment for his mortgage was planned around his pension.
Oishi is a grown-up's grown-up, and that's why he can't do anything reckless. Akasaka knows that, and that's why he said that Oishi should back down. Oishi understands it too. So, Akasaka had to ask him that tough question, in order to find out how strong Oishi's commitment was. Been awfully slow paying back my loan, all because I wanted to hold on to some spending money. Even though I would have saved on interest if I just paid a bit more earlier on, but I just wanted to gamble and drink. If I'd lived my life so I didn't have to depend on my pension in my old age, I could jump right on to this case. Oishi's fists were trembling. That's how he shed his tears. But, I'm an officer until the moment I retire. No, even that doesn't matter. I promised in front of his grave. I promised that old man that I'd find out who killed him. I promised to stay a police officer until I arrest his murderer. In other words, me being a police officer isn't the issue here. What matters is that I keep my officer's spirit until I find that murderer, even if I'm fired. But am I afraid to be fired? Am I afraid to lose my pension? Yes, I am. It'll ruin my plans for my future. I need a lot of money for that. My dream is to live a leisurely life in Hokkaido, rather. Work on a vegetable garden, have fun in Susukino, and take up ballroom dancing lessons. But why am I afraid? Is my officer's spirit so weak as all that? I've dreamt of uncovering the truth behind the series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa, and the door to that truth I've sought so long is right here in front of me. Damn it. God damn it. Why can't I just throw away my badge? Why can't I stop caring about what the police think? Damn it, god damn it. Nobody could say anything in response to Oishi. He's at a crossroads. The crossroads of a person who has worked so hard and so humbly for so long. How could the young people who know nothing about what he had to go through say anything at all? I misread that, but that's okay. You are a friend of the departed construction site manager, right? Yes. He was a friend, a brother, and a father to me. Although it's only formality, I'm the director of the Iri Institute. If the conspiracy that surrounds Rika-chan is exposed, I'll be the one who takes the blame. Isn't that right, Tomatake-san? His position exists exactly for that purpose. To the Institute as a whole, Iri is there simply to cover for Takano's research. Tomatake, of course, knows about that, and even Iri has started to realize it. Even if Iri hadn't done anything wrong, he would have to take the blame, as the person in charge of the Institute. That's how every organization purged itself, by forcing someone to take the blame and reshuffling members. That's why leaders get more money. When it's all over, I will tell you everything about the series of mysterious deaths. I actually have an obligation to remain silent for the rest of my life, but you'll let me tell him, won't you, Tomatake-san? I didn't hear anything. As an honest man, Tomatake can't say yes, so pretending to ignore it was the best he could do. No, that's not right. You can tell the brave Kurado Oishi about it, the one who found the courage to help you. The cowardly Kurado Oishi, the one who didn't want to lose his pension, doesn't deserve to hear the truth. He faced a dilemma. Even though the truth behind the mysterious deaths he sought so hard was right in front of him, he couldn't just accept it with his head held high. To understand what he's going through, one would have to live the life he did. His dilemma is very vast and very heavy. Young people couldn't possibly understand.
Can I have some time to think about this? I really do want to find the truth and put evil behind bars.
I just need some time to gather my courage. This is Kurado Oishi. Can you grab me that?
Why is he even asking? Nobody here will force him to make up his mind. Of course, I won't either. However, Oishi needs someone's approval. Oishi is still passionate about his work as a police officer, yet he isn't brave enough to take on this case. He wants somebody to forgive him for that. But nobody can do that, and nobody can stop Oishi from crying.
Apparently I can when I am invisible. Why?
This is the only chapter that these sprites are breaking. It's kind of annoying.
Yes, I'll grant you that time.
Hanyu? How long has she been here? Hanyu has arrived. I didn't see her come in. But then again, she's always around. Hanyu is the guardian deity of Hinamizawa after all.
I'll grant you some time to make your decision. You have to be honest, and you've been tough on yourself until today. Your life is not to be taken lightly, and that's why you are having such a hard time deciding. One should never be proud of careless decisions or brute courage. A careful judgment made by a person who has lived a worthy life like you, that's what's worth being proud of.
She might sound arrogant to us, but that was exactly what Oishi needed to hear. Right. Who among us has the right to admonish Oishi, the eldest one here? No one. No one should be able to. Nobody but one. The one who has been protecting humans for over 1,000 years. Hanyu. No matter if you decide calmly or courageously, I will praise you, as long as your decision was made well. I've never met you before, but thank you. That makes me feel better. Thank you for giving a coward like me the time of day. If it was me, I would have asked Oishi to be my ally and asked him for help. But that wouldn't have reached his heart. Wanting help is my selfish request. I don't know anything about the life he lived, and that's why my words wouldn't reach him. But Hanyu's words did. Hanyu has never told me this, but I can tell she's been watching Oishi since the day he was born. She's been watching all that he went through. That's why she can say that, and why what she said could reach him. Only Hanyu could do that.
Dr. Iri?
There's only one thing. Please tell me one thing. I keep thinking that it's Rika, but it's still Oishi. Sure. Ask me anything. I've long suspected that the Sonozaki family was pulling the strings in the old man's murder case. Am I right to think that? No, you are not. You're wrong. We can explain everything about the series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa. I see. Oishi pretended to scratch his head. For so long, he pursued the case with that belief, yet someone deeply involved was telling him he'd missed the mark, so he must be feeling at least some frustration. What Iri said wouldn't be enough, so I have to continue.
Oishi? None of the curses of Oyashiro-sama were done in secret by the villagers. The Sonozaki family, the 3 families, and the other villagers, none of them are involved.
There were only misunderstandings, misinterpretations, coincidences, tragedies, and comedies. The real identity of the curse of Oyashiro-sama is simply a series of misinterpretations. It only looks like the villagers are acting in secret. So, all the information I've gathered so far about the Sonozaki family is worthless?
The heads of the Sonozaki family have a secret precept. They must always act as if they command natural disasters.
As if they command maybe even. I don't know.
The Sonozaki family knows nothing. Moreover, they are even afraid of the incidents that occur every year. But in order to maintain their dignity, they act as though they're the ones behind everything.
Oh my goodness. I see. It all makes sense now. If that's true, then that Oyo woman, damn it, she sure said some things to mislead me. You're telling me the truth, aren't you?
Yes, I am. It's written in the Furude family's secret scrolls, too. Do you want to see?
Just Oishi slowly having a breakdown of like everything he thought was false. I have no idea what Oishi thinks is so funny. Nobody here can tell what's going through Oishi's mind, except the girl who has watched over human beings for over 1,000 years.
I can understand why you're so happy.
What? What do you mean? I can see you?
The thought that you don't have to hate anyone anymore is a very, very welcome concept.
Oh no. The Sonozaki family still is a vile organization with its claws all over Shishibone City. That doesn't change. I've been stabbed by one of them before, you know? They may not be responsible for the mysterious deaths, but they are still my enemies. That's all still true, but I just feel happy. None of us can tell if what Hanyu is saying is right. Oishi believed the Sonozaki family was behind it all. Now that he's learned that they're not, I'm sure he feels like everything he stands for has been made meaningless. But if Hanyu says that's not the case, to hate someone must be such a painful thing. I can't explain Oishi's laughter. All I can do is speculate. Oishi left with a cigarette in his mouth, saying that he wanted to cool off for a little. We won't get anywhere until we know if Takano-san is guilty or not, so we won't be able to act until after we hear the report from Tomitake-san. I don't know why Rika-chan is so suspicious of Takano-san. Personally, I feel bad for her. But what she said makes sense too. Rika-chan is an important person. We can't let anyone suspicious get near her. Tomitake is making it sound like he's going to prove Takano's innocence. I guess I can't blame him since he's in love with her. To be honest, I'm also hoping that Takano isn't guilty. Takano understands me, and she was one of my allies. I had a friendship with her. I've trusted her for over 100 years. But Hanyu says that Takano is guilty. If something pops out when we poke her, then the question is how well Tomitake can catch it. To get people to help me, I have to find proof of Takano's guilt. So I just have to trust Tomitake for now. Tomitake-san, please be very careful. If she is guilty, then you'll be in danger too. I understand. I'll move to a new hotel without letting the Institute know. I should probably leave Hinamizawa immediately, but if Takano-san is guilty, that would backfire. That's pretty tough, yeah. It's a cardinal rule to act normally during a secret investigation. Would you prefer to stay with me? No, that's all right. It's fine. I'll be very careful. But Rika-chan's safety is the priority here. What should we do?
What should we do? Hanyu, what should we do? Using chess as an example, you're like an unprotected king. As soon as Takano gets a hold of you, the game is over. One of the most important rules in chess is to guard the king first, right? Yes. Today is Thursday. Watanagashi is in 3 days. You need to hide somewhere nobody can find you until at least then.
Any idea where?
I think you should ask Mion.
That's true. The Sonozaki family's underground storehouse would be an ideal place to hide. I thought we established this already.
Satoko should go with you too.
If I leave Satoko behind, they'll question her about my whereabouts. She may be in danger too. That means I'll have to tell the truth to at least Satoko and Mion. That the comic plot we discussed wasn't just fiction. Still, I always seem to underestimate their reliability. It really is beyond my imagination. I need to talk to them. I have a feeling they'll believe me. They're my steadfast allies, after all.
We're going into hiding for a while. There's a perfect place for that at Mion's house.
Will you really be safe there?
Yes, it's like an air raid shelter. It has everything we need. We can easily stay there for about a month.
The Sonozaki family's underground storehouse has every basic necessity in case someone actually had to live there due to some complication or another. Mion has mentioned before that it's like a unique vacation home. I tried to say home and house. Now it is a vacation hose. I don't know how you can call a place with a torture room a vacation house, though. I don't know how long my investigation into Takano-san will take, but as soon as I find out something, I'll call Mion-chan's house. Is that okay?
That works fine.
To tell you the truth, the mountain dogs have a bug on Rika-chan's home phone for security reasons, so that works better either way.
Yep. So somebody has been listening to all my personal conversations?
No. It's set up that they can tune in, but that doesn't mean that they're listening to every normal conversation. They only do it when they have a security drill. That happens a few times a year. I bet my phone at the clinic is being wiretapped too, huh? Well, yes. That's because of the purpose of the facility, though. Please understand. Excuse me. How do they actually do that? Ooh, they're doing a little bit of
setting up.
Rika-chan's landline branches off. Do you remember the little shack behind the shrine? The line leads into there, which is where they wiretap it. Usually there's no one there, but once the mountain dogs receive orders to guard her, there will be 2 agents recording conversations in there all the time. Of course, they don't usually record everything. Is there a security drill, scheduled in the near future? Or maybe orders to guard her? Security drills take place in January, April, July, and October, so there's no drills this month. Orders to guard her are given only when they anticipate an emergency, but they haven't been given even once since the Institute was established. Who gives those orders? The director does, which is me. But Takano-san is the surrogate director, so she can send out orders too. If Takano really is the person who wants to kill Rika-chan, then she'll use the mountain dogs to spy on her. That's very possible. In other words, if people start to go in and out of that shack, that means that Takano has made her move. So we could take that as proof that tensions are building around Rika-chan, right? I don't know if it would prove that Takano-san is behind it, but we can take it as a sign that danger is approaching. Indeed. Regardless of whether Takano is guilty or not, that's what it means. As long as we keep our eyes on the shack, Rika-chan will stay safe and secure. That's a great idea.
But there is one problem, Rika. If there are no lights on in the house at night, it'll be obvious to everyone that nobody's home. Takano doesn't even have to wiretap your phone. As soon as she sees the house, she'll realize you're skipping school and run away.
You're right. And that puts Tomitake, who's investigating Takano, in a tight spot. We'll have to think of something to counteract that.
Just leave the lights on. That's what we do when we go on vacation. Or at least, like, what my family did. You just, like, turn the radio on and you leave the lights on. Nobody will suspect a thing other than the fact that lights are staying on all night. But nobody suspects a thing.
So we're dealing with having to observe the wiretapping shack, like Akasaka was saying earlier. Then there's the problem with having to keep the lights on at your house. It's also a fact that it's better for Akasaka to stay in the village. If I put all three together and mix them up, I get... Ow. I have an idea!
Oh no. You aren't thinking about letting Akasaka stay at my house, are you? No, absolutely not. My house is such a mess, it smells and it's filthy. I can't let Akasaka stay in there, no!
Ow. Akasaka staying over! Ow.
I said no! No! Why are you making such a fuss, Surika-chan?
Meep, I lost my cool there for a moment. Meepa!
Jeez, just because Hanyu's insisting. Okay.
Ow.
It's true that if Rika-chan's house ends up empty, there won't be any lights on at night, and leaving them on would be even more suspicious.
Akasaka, Meep, what do you think about staying at my house while I'm gone?
I see. That's a great idea, as long as it's okay with you, Rika-chan. Let's do that. Akasaka seems to think it's a pretty good idea. Am I selfish for wanting him to get a little embarrassed about staying at my house? I should be ashamed of myself.
Ow.
Everything is set. Tomitake is going to get in touch with his colleagues in Tokyo and start an investigation on Takano. That's all. That's all we can do from our end. Edie is going to lead his normal life. To act normally after something like this will be pretty difficult, but there really isn't anything else for him to do right now. Takano is sly. She'll never let Edie ruin her plans. Actually, Edie only comes into the picture after Takano's been exposed. Oishi didn't say he would help, but he said that he wouldn't interfere with us. In fact, there are some people with the ties to the mountain dogs at the police department too. It's probably best if Oishi acts normally, like Edie is. I'm going to tell Satoko the truth and hide at Mion's house for a while, starting today. I don't know how long I'll have to hide, but it'll at least be until something happens. Akasaka is going to stay at my house and make it look like I'm home, sick. If something happens, coming all the way from Okinomiya would take too long. It feels much better to have him stay in the village. Everything will begin only once Tomitake finds out something. Edie says that he hopes things will get moving soon, but I don't think we need to worry about that. They will try to kill Tomitake on the night of Watanagashi, on Sunday, 2 days from today. That has never changed in many, many worlds, so that's definitely their plan. In other words, even if Tomitake doesn't find anything, the wheels will start turning in 2 days. I had warned Tomitake again to be extremely careful. But still, if I still get killed, I'll curse your family for 7 generations after I die. Yeah, we did stop in a good place yesterday. Because we would have went for almost until 7. It's already getting dark. Everyone went home except for Akasaka. I'm still thinking about how to tell Satoko about Akasaka and also about what's to come.
Worrying about it won't solve anything, Erika. You have a bad habit of underestimating your friends.
But how can she believe that what we talked about at school today is actually real? How can she believe me when I tell her that her life is in danger? In addition, I'm bringing home this guy she's never met before.
Don't you think Satoko will believe you?
I don't know, but it's possible that she won't.
Oh, so Satoko isn't your friend, is she?
What? What Hanyu just said startled me. It was kind of a scary thing to hear, even though she said it while wearing her usual warm smile.
I know Satoko is one of us. I think she'll believe you and become your ally against Takano. But you're saying you can't trust her. That's like saying Satoko isn't your friend. If she isn't even your friend, then why waste your time telling her about it? Ow. Let's just leave Satoko behind and go to Mion's house by ourselves. Just the two of us.
What are you saying? That's nonsense! Satoko is my best friend, and...
If you don't think it's worth telling her the truth, then that's it. You just think a best friend is like a stray cat that you feed every day. I'm actually surprised to learn that you've been letting Satoko live with you when you think of her like that.
I didn't say that. Satoko is my best friend. My very best. Yeah, she's even closer to me than you are.
But you don't believe she will believe. It's the same as spouting your complaints as at a stray cat that you feed every day. You know the cat can't do anything, and knowing that you still complain to her, and that's all your relationship is. Hello, poor Satoko. She believes you're her best friend, but you don't feel the same way. Hello.
Damn you. I tried to slap Hanyu, but I couldn't touch her. My hand went through her cheek and hit only the air. I can't believe she made herself incorporeal again. Hanyu disappeared, saying ow in a teasing manner. I am upset, but I can totally understand what she was getting at. Will your roommate agree?
I'll make her agree. Satoko has nothing to do with this conspiracy, and since she lives with me, she's going to end up involved anyway. For Satoko's sake, I have to explain this to her.
So, should I wait outside?
No. I think it'll be better to have you with us so she doesn't think it's a joke. If I can't explain it properly, can you help?
Sure, I will. I went up to the second floor with Akasaka. To be honest, I couldn't even imagine how to start bringing it up. But even Hanyu made fun of me. I can't hesitate. I made up my mind and walked into the room, and was surprised. My messy room is all cleaned up. Satoko is packing her pajamas and towels into her duffel bag. It's as if she's going on a camping trip.
Satoko? I'm home. Here, I got your luggage ready too. We can't just borrow toothbrushes and towels from Mion-san, you know? Besides, we can't let some strange man stay in a messy room either. This is why I always tell you to tidy things up around here.
I blinked in surprise. I don't understand why Satoko already knows what's going on. If she saw me, Iri, and Tometake talking behind the shrine with Oishi and a strange man, she'd be sure to get curious. Satoko must have overheard our conversation. Not only that, she packed our luggage and cleaned our room, which means she already knows Akasaka is going to stay in this house. She must have come home in a hurry to get things done.
So it wasn't just a storyline for some comic, was it? Mia. You know, that's what I don't like about you, Rika. Have I ever doubted you before? I always thought that I was your best friend, that you could count on me before anyone else. I'm sorry.
Satoko doesn't seem that angry. Rather, she seems shocked that what we talked about at school is real. She isn't really that upset. But this is exactly what Hanyu said. I thought Satoko was my best friend, yet I couldn't trust her completely. Having realized this, I apologized. Satoko turned around as if to tell me that there's no time for apologies. I think she accepted it. As the proof of that, she's getting things ready to go to Mion's house. Thank you, Satoko.
Akasaka-san, is it? I don't know how you and Rika-chan know each other, but you're Rika's ally. Then you're mine too. You may call me Satoko Hojo.
Nice to meet you. I'm Akasaka. The conspiracy surrounding Rika-chan runs pretty deep, and it's not easy to explain. She was afraid you'd reject her after she confessed to everyone, so please try to understand how she felt too.
Of course I understand. I'm Rika's best friend, you know. She was thinking that I didn't believe her. Who would? I can understand why she'd be afraid.
You're really mature, Satoko-chan. Rika-chan is lucky to have you as her best friend. I'm pretty envious of her. Satoko took Akasaka around the house and explained everything. She let him know that the switch for the hot water heater sticks a little, and that if the picture on the TV gets messed up, he needs to tap on it. She even told him about all the traps she set around the shrine, using a secret map of hers. Akasaka listened to her dead seriously. Upon seeing them talk, I couldn't help but smile. Hanyu also smiled while watching us, but it felt like she was saying, "I told you so." I was going to pretend that I didn't notice her. If our contrarian Satoko believed me thus easily, then our simple-minded Mion will believe us even more easily. Keiichi doesn't even know how to doubt people, and Nana has sharp instincts, so she'll believe me too. So everyone is going to believe me, huh? Hanyu didn't reply, but she smiled as if she's happy to see that I grew a little.
Alright, there's plenty of things in the refrigerator. Rika, you're asking him to house sit, so why don't you make dinner for him tonight? Besides, just to be safe, perhaps we should go over to Mion-san's house a little later.
Oh, don't worry. I can handle that myself.
Hello, this is a chance to serve him your homemade food, Rika. Hello.
You're really annoying today. Oh, right, Satoko, we have to make something good, huh? I have an idea. Can you bring out a large kimchi bottle from the refrigerator? No, not that one. The one that says death penalty. Not the one that says punishment. Let's make kimchi fried rice today. Akasaka, do you like spicy food? Oh, yes. I love spicy things.
Ow, 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 ow.
The cream puffs in the refrigerator have expired, so let's throw them away.
Aw, what a waste. I hear they're from a famous shop over in Gogura. Ow, 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 ow.
The ow-ows are awfully loud today. Maybe a stray dog's howling somewhere. Night is falling on the 16th of June. The pieces are lining up on the final game board one after another. No, pieces isn't the right word to call them. Night is falling on the 18th of June. We're gaining reliable allies for this final challenge. Our first key, Tometake, will be killed in 3 days. Fate is going to change before that point. For some reason, my headset is being really weird today. I think I need a new pair, but
I have to wait for my trip to do that.
Still no tips. Okay. Oh, I didn't save. Oh well, that's fine. Okay, so they're meeting up. This is the
Hello, Hina. How you doing today?
we are going through. It's kind of speeding by. It's just doing the normal things of like, hey, we're doing the friend stuff, and then we're gonna go over and hang out at Mion's house. Furude-san and Hojo-san are absent today because they both have colds. The weather is changing, so it's easy to get sick. Make sure you cover yourselves when you go to sleep, okay? Okay!
They live together, so I guess they caught it together. Rika-chan is supposed to perform as Shrine Maiden on the day of Watanagashi. I hope she'll be okay. I hope.
Man, my voice acting today is kind of scuffed, but that's okay. We're planning to have lots of fun at the festival. I hope they recover by tomorrow somehow. Hey, do you want to go see them on your way home? Maybe we can bring something healthy for them to eat, too. We don't need to. By the way, can you just two stop by this old man's house today?
It's so cute. I'm trying.
Mion usually enjoys ideas like bringing people food when they're sick. For whatever reason, she was a little curt today. Actually, she's been acting a little different since this morning. Even when I talk to her, her thought seems somewhere else. Now she's asking Rena and me to stop by at her house.
Your housemate-chan? What for?
Well, I need to talk to you about something important. I can't tell you right now, though. Mion seems calmer than usual, which told me that it was about something very serious. There are always lots of patients running into the clinic just before lunchtime. Because of that, lunchtime at the clinic is always later than normal people's. It's just a short break, though. Our afternoon shift begins right away. The staff were enjoying their break, eating their delivery lunches. They can eat basically anywhere they want, as long as the patients can't see them, and it's not a place that we need to keep sterile. Because it's hot and humid, the meeting room with the air conditioners ends up being a popular place. The staff all eat their takeout lunches there. As I'm the director of this clinic, they might feel uncomfortable eating with me around. You know, I might start talking about maids. So I usually eat my lunch in the director's office out of consideration for them. Today I ordered lunch from a soba shop. I got an extra large serving of mori soba, that is. Forest soba? For whatever reason, they just call the dish an extra large. That makes ordering it complicated, since if I order an extra large and a kitsune udon, they'll just deliver an extra large kitsune udon instead. But is this really a large? It looks more like a regular size to me. As I recall, the owner of this restaurant has hurt her hip, so she must be having a hard time keeping things running. I was still thinking about that when Takano-san came in. She was carrying a real large size order in her hands. Apparently, she ordered a regular morisuba, and I grabbed the wrong one by mistake. Oh, what a hassle. It's easy to confuse them, isn't it? They should use some kind of mark, you know. I agree. For example, they can put a flag like the one on the kids' meal that says large size. Takano-san must have liked that idea. She left for a while. Would you like to join me? That's me asking. I invited her to sit on the sofa. Are you sure? Thank you, but can you turn the air conditioning down just a little? Sure. Sorry about that. Here we go. Come to think of it, I haven't really talked too much with her. We were rather distant from each other, partly over the guilt of the organization becoming the Iri Clinic Institute. So with that and our respective positions, we had a taciturn agreement not to pry too deeply into each other. Since our attitudes towards our research are different, we've never mingled before, so chatting over lunch is a good way to get closer to her, after working together for how many years? I wonder what she likes to talk about while eating. I guess I should start a peaceful conversation. I don't want her to go off on something like tapeworms. We're having lunch after all. And while I tried to come up with a topic, she started talking instead. Flag on a kid's meal. That brings back memories. Do you think they still have those flags, though? I don't know. It's one of those things that endure, so it's possible they keep having flags on kids' meals even in the far future. Maybe even an in-flight kids' meal on a spaceship will have a flag on it. That sounds interesting. I wonder if kids will collect those flags even in the future. Flags? Did you collect them? Oh, didn't you do that when you were a kid? Collect the flags from kid meals? No way. When I was young, only rich kids could have meals like that. My family couldn't afford it. That's not true. My family was poor, but when we went to the mall, we had our lunch at a restaurant there. At the time, for me to go to a mall meant having a kid's meal, so whenever my parents went to the mall without me, I'd get very upset. Your childhood sounds very happy. But when they went to the mall without me one day, they got in an accident and died. Until I got a call about it, I was really upset with my parents for going to the mall without me, and I was sure they were having a meal there by themselves. As it happened, I only needed one more flag to make my collection complete. Collecting 20 of them was my goal. I was so upset that I couldn't complete my collection. That's awful, huh? It must have been horrible for her to lose her parents at an age where she was still interested in collecting flags from kids' meals. It's obviously still a painful memory for her. I see. I didn't know. By the way, is that why you became a doctor? Huh? Why? Oh, well, I aimed to become a doctor because of reasons involving my family, so I thought the same was true for you, too. I earned my medical license because it was necessary to draw closer to the Hinamizawa syndrome. It might be rude to put it this way, but I only obtained my license as a byproduct of pursuing my research. How interesting. Even when she was still at medical school, she already knew about Hinamizawa syndrome. By the way, pardon me. By the way, before I took on this job, I didn't know anything about the syndrome. That's me talking. Where did you find out about it? I was told you read something about it while you were looking into the late Dr. Takano's documents. I'm impressed that you already started to research it while you were in school. Studying took up all of my time when I was a student. That's really incredible. Well, actually, I became familiar with Hinamizawa syndrome long before that. What does she mean? How old was she when she first found out about the syndrome? In fact, why did she become familiar with it at all? Just like Satoko-chan and Rika-chan, I didn't have any relatives, so I was sent to an orphanage. It was a horrible place. You remember how there was a flood of war orphans back then? I was in a truly awful orphanage built solely to gather up those children and bring in government subsidies. Then, when I escaped from there, I was rescued by my grandfather, Dr. Takano. So you actually lived with Dr. Takano? I see. Now I understand why you were familiar with the research documents at a young age. But why do you keep it a secret? Well, political reasons. It's one thing to request funding for research on a mysterious disease, but it's another thing to request it for a research project of my late grandpa's. I see. Finally, a question is answered. The admiration you've shown when discussing Dr. Takano was always more than just respect for a fellow researcher. Still, since you respect him that much, he must have been a wonderful doctor with many genuine virtues. I don't know about genuine virtues. He died alone of an illness with nobody around to understand him. He preferred being alone, which was a bad habit of his. That's why he couldn't find anyone who would support him. Still, he had you for an excellent assistant, didn't he? Speaking of which, your family name is read the same way as his is, isn't it? Yes, it's not my real family name. I took my grandfather's out of respect. I actually wanted to write it the same way, but I thought it could get complicated when explaining it to my client, so I ended up using different characters. Now I could see the connection between their two last names. That also revealed the connection between first names, Hifumi and Mio, too. She doesn't need to tell me anything more than that. She lost her parents when she was young, and Dr. Takano took her in and loved her as if she was his own child. To show her love and respect, she decided to call him her grandfather. Now I know. That's the reason why she's devoted herself to researching Hinamizawa syndrome. I now understand how she must feel, knowing her research is soon to be terminated. Rika-chan had said that she was hurt. Although I didn't know anything about it, I may have said something to hurt her before. I only cared about treatment and extermination, and didn't care about anything else until today. She must have considered that blasphemous towards her grandfather. Now I know why she became aggressive every time I expressed how I felt.
Hello, Bailey. How you doing today? Was Twitch bullying you today and sent the alert late?
After she was told that her research would be terminated, she stayed up all night and gathered up lots of documents. She went to Tokyo and requested an extension without depending on anyone else, and that request was rejected. The documents she used are now in a box in the underground storage. She must have exerted a lot of effort to put them together. Even someone without any knowledge of our research could easily understand what she was trying to say. However, it looked like some of those documents weren't even opened, and some had marks that told me that they weren't treated the way documents are supposed to be. I'm sure some pages has absorbed her tears without me ever knowing. Oh man. Nah, I knew you were alive. I needed a shower. Fair enough. The weather's been kind of like off and on over here. Like sometimes it's very warm and then it's just like, oh, it's 50 again. Can one be funny and stuck in a room? Yeah. Bo Burnham made a whole special about that. But you know, I think at one point there's a little bit of sadness in the comedy. I heard from Tokyo that Takano-san had left a terrible impression on the board of directors. It's not easy to overturn a bad impression.
Also, hello, Rocket. How you doing today?
It's not easy to overturn a bad impression. In other words, she can never request an extension on her research ever again. I was there when she found out about it. I was there when she found out that she could no longer continue her grandfather's research, even though she must have promised him that she would complete it. Are you going to continue researching on your own after the Idiot Institute shuts down? By the time the Idiot Institute closes, the Hinamizawa syndrome will have been eradicated. Should I preserve the pathogen in a petri dish, kidnap someone and infect them to research it? On my own? Without equipment, funding, or a lab? Should I continue the research, hold up in a study filled with a smell of formalin and never recognized or acknowledged by anyone, just like my grandfather, all so someone else can ridicule it? What would you have a loser like me who lacks the youth and energy anymore do to continue it?
Edie's just like, Takano, I just asked you a simple question. Comedy is tragedy plus time. That's true. Yeah. Just like yesterday, I was trying to set up for a joke. Oh, did I fail on a setup for a joke, or are you talking about somewhere else?
Tomitake-san once told me that the Erie Institute was supposed to be the Takano Institute, but our clients didn't like the idea of a young woman heading the facility, and that's why I was invited. Oh.
That's a little sexist.
That explains why she's been unfriendly since the day we met. It must have been blasphemy to her to see me go on about the Hinamizawa syndrome and decide on a research plan according to my values and morals. To Takano, the syndrome is her grandfather. She must feel his presence when she's researching it. That's the reason why she often stays at the Institute until late at night, though it makes the mountain dogs annoyed, as they serve as security here. Would you like to drink some of the soba broth? Ah, yes, please. Her shoulders look fragile to me for the first time. And now I'm sure of Rika-chan's story. Takano-san holds an indescribable sadness within her, and if someone approached her pretending to understand, she just might fall for it. Because of my position, anything I say to her will only hurt her more, probably. Sometimes words can harm people no matter how they're used, but the fact that I still spoke up showed how little experience I had in life. We could at least give the research you'd like to pursue a little more of our future budget. We managed to gain another 3 years from them at least, so we can give those 3 years our best. It was all a slip. Even as I spoke, I started to regret trying to say anything. No, I was trying out a more extreme version of my go-to joke oh right. When we were trying to like make it roll the nat 1 and we both got nat 20s. Maybe you'll get it today though. I appreciate the sentiment, but it's even harder to watch someone fall ill and waste away over 3 long years. If I remembered right, Dr. Takano came down with an acute dementia and chose to commit suicide while his mind was still functional out of despair at his inability to continue his research further. My verbal slip had made her remember a painful memory and hurt her even more. He went into a coma and I had to make a decision as to whether or not to turn off his life support or not. Hey, Dr. Iri, if you were the doctor in charge of that patient, who would you have pull the plug? You wouldn't pull the plug yourself, would you? Takano-san asked me that as if it was a normal question. She's only expecting to hear one answer. I was joking about toying with fate. If I was put in that position, then when the time came, I'd probably let his remaining family do it. That's what I thought. There's no way someone wouldn't be there for their family's final moments, so I will be here for the final moments of the Hinamizawa syndrome, no matter what. Oh no, you got a good roll. Eventually you'll get a 1. Someone knocked on the door, and I heard the voice of one of the other staff members. Director, afternoon shifts are beginning. Please get ready. Oh, okay. I'll be right there. I'll clean up. Why don't you go? Lots of elderly people are waiting to chit-chat with you. Takano-san laughed, but I know that laugh was trying to conceal her anguish. I'm not close to her personally, but she is my partner here at the clinic. I have been trying to avoid getting close to her, but maybe that was a mistake. If I had listened to her more, maybe I could have eased her pain a little, but it's too late. Tomitake-san is conducting an investigation to prove her innocence. Is she guilty or not? Either way, her heartache remains. After Iri left, Takano sat down on the sofa again and stared at nothing for a while. Then she got up and picked up the phone on the desk. This is Takano. Is Okanogi there? It's me. I was going to ask you to start on the 20th, but please begin observing R today instead. Eh? What difference does it make? Or are you going to tell me that it's too hot to start today? Yes, please do. We only have 5 days. We'd better be careful. More than careful, okay? Yeah, alright.
Stinky mans.
Okay, goodbye. Okanogi put down the phone and sighed. Although it's his job to do whatever Takano wants, he couldn't help but complain about getting such an order on such an extremely hot day. Of course, if he complained, Takano would spit back twice as much reproach. In the medical field, you never say it's quiet, because if you say the... goes into a fib. Or quiet, yes. I have respect for people in the medical field. I could never do that. for multiple reasons. One of which is just like hospitals give off bad vibes to me. I don't know why. But like just whenever I'm at a hospital, it's just like I am uncomfortable. Okanogi was sitting in the office of Okanogi Gardeners, a dummy company. As it happened, they regularly did gardening in Hinamizawa, if only so that nobody would get suspicious to see their uniforms and van around. Good grief, I give up. Call in Nightingale and Skylark. The vacations are cancelled. The princess has given up the order of observing R today. We'll have to move the schedule up by 3 days. The first day was head-on, right? Or Heron? I don't know. Go with a group of 4, including 1 telephone observer, 1 telephone backup, and 1 residence lookout and 1 residence backup. Heron, later, you'll be at the command post. Also, we're stepping up our sabotage of the telephone station, too. That would have been Nightingale's job, but it'll take a whole day for them to get here. So we'll use Phoenix instead. Phoenix 7, gather up the construction team and finish by tonight. Can you do it? Of course. My men are well trained. The Mountain Dogs are different from a regular battle unit. They're a technical squad formed from specialists in different fields of espionage. They were covert operatives for sabotaging telephone stations like Okanogi just ordered. One for wiretapping, intelligence gathering, information manipulation, establishing networks in public institutions, and many others in various specialized fields. They belong to the Self-Defense Force. Some are from fire departments, some are from police departments, and some are civil engineers. Of course, they have some experts in combat as well. Okanogi is one of those combat experts, and he didn't expect too much from engineers. While they had all gone through the same basic training, what they were capable of was child's play compared to what an expert can do. Okanogi is the leader of a unit made up mostly of members who can't even do 100 push-ups. Really, that was the only complaint he had. Oh my gosh. American, I'm fine with regular checkups, but in an emergency, I'm scared for many reasons, right? It's just like, if I'm emergency, it's just like, this is gonna cost my entire life's money. Money I don't have and all the money I will have. He'd rather have been put in charge of the Bloodhounds, but somehow he became the leader of this strange unit, maybe because of his cautious yet courageous personality. Since combat was his expertise, Okanogi wished deeply for combat. During the kidnapping incident 5 years ago, the plan was for the resisting criminals to leave the hostage behind on the scene and run after the police stormed in. He recalled the extremely frustrated memory of his combat with that plainclothes officer.
He was the one that bought Akasaka.
That fat old man was acting so arrogantly, but he could have taken him within a matter of seconds. He could have just broken his neck. He could have turned him around and snap. It would have been so easy for him. He remembered a young policeman too. He shot him in the shoulder, but he could have shot at his ear. He was told to go easy on them, but that was the best he could do. He'd thought of firing a second shot, but there wasn't time, so the last shot he fired was that reluctant one. Okanogi couldn't believe that such a pathetic battle was his last combat job. Regardless, he had continued to train so that he was ready at any time. Now that the operation had begun, he was hoping that there would be a battle for him to fight. He didn't even need to fire a shot. He didn't even need to punch anyone. All Okanogi wanted was a battle that satisfied his pride. Nothing more. Yes, one moment, please. Commander, there's a phone call for you. I don't know if it's for the commander or the president, though. He's also the president of the Okanogi Gardeners. Because of that, the members of the Mountain Dogs often call him that. Just a minute, I'll get my accent back. What? Really? How about that, huh? And who was it anyway? It's a woman. She says her name is Nomura. She's asking for President Okanogi. And that's for the commander. I'll take it in my office. Please transfer it over. Rattle, rattle, crash. I heard a noise, which sounded like many buckets crashing down. It's probably a noise from one of Satoko-chan's traps. According to her trap map, anyone going near the wiretapping shack will set off a trap that makes a loud noise. That must have been it just now. I scouted around the shack last night before the girls left. The shack is very secluded and is located in a blind spot where nobody is likely to go, so this noise means something important. It means they've started their observation of Rika-chan. I can't let them notice the girls aren't home. They'll definitely call and come by to confirm they're here, so I have to make sure that they think the girls are sick in bed and that they don't hear the phone or the doorbell. The curtains are closed, so they can't see what's inside of the house, but to be certain, their beds are stuffed to make it look like they're sleeping. However, I have been even more careful from now on. Or I have to be, rather. I can't let them notice that I'm staying here. For that matter, I have to make sure that I can act when something happens. The phone rang suddenly, just as I expected. They're calling to see if anyone's home. They're already aware that they didn't go to school, so they're probably assuming that they're home, sick in bed. I'm sure they want proof of that. The phone rang for a long time, which convinced me that it was indeed a call from the Mountain Dogs. So in Professional, you didn't make a map of that. You just remember. well, this is Akasaka's point of view. He just met Satoko. If there was no answer on the phone, then the next step would be to come by the house. They'll pretend to be a mailman or a neighbor and knock on the door, but I don't even need to answer it. If the girls are too sick to answer the phone, then they won't notice a knock on the door either. The increased hassle means a higher risk of discovery, but, on the other hand, it also proves our enemies closing in on us. It was actually better for me, since I could measure the severity of the situation. Besides, Idi is our ally, and he already knows that Rika-chan is somewhere else. He's supposed to tell them that he came by because he heard Rika-chan and Satoko-chan missed school, and that the two of them were in bed and should be left alone for a while. He's supposed to say that. They won't doubt Idi. They will believe him. He could call this an advanced level of mutual deceit. They believe that they're deceiving Idi, but in reality, Idi is deceiving them. However, they're professionals, and we're a bunch of amateurs. Well, not me at least. Actually, maybe I'm not an exception. I don't know what they've got until I come face to face with them. Our conditions aren't even. We're leading by a tiny bit because we made the first move. Once that's gone, we don't stand a chance. I promised Rika-chan that I trust her unconditionally, so even without proof, I'm ready to fight. But I can't beat this conspiracy by myself. And to gain help from the others, Tomitake has to find proof. Tomitake is in charge of our first attack. That means he's in the most danger too. It's understandable that Rika-chan kept warning him to be very careful. I was thinking you could use traps offensively if you're sneaky enough. Eee! He should have started his investigation as early as last night. If that's the reason why they've begun observing Rika-chan, I can only pray for his safety and success of the investigation. I heard a voice. Idi had arrived. Satoko-chan, Rika-chan, I'm here to give you an examination! I heard footsteps coming up the stairs and a quiet knock. I'm alone, don't worry. I have to keep it down. This house is already under observation. I let Idi in and closed the door quickly. How are you? Must be getting hot in here since you can't open the windows, huh? I brought something for you. He handed me a plastic bag. It contained ice cream, cans of juice, some snacks, and even beer. Well, this obviously isn't for Rika-chan. I feel like he's being a little careless, but I am grateful. So, how is everything? I heard a noise from the wiretapping shack earlier, and the phone rang for a long time shortly afterwards. I'm sure they found out that the girls missed school today and called to check. Has anyone asked you to come check on Rika-chan? Yes. Takano-san told me to go check, since they missed school and haven't come by the clinic. I knew it. Do you think she's suspicious about their absence? No. I think it has something to do with Tomitake-san starting his investigation. Even if it doesn't, this may give him a chance to find out something. Either way, it's already begun, hasn't it? Yes, more than likely. I don't know if our enemies are Takano and the Mountain Dogs, or somebody else. Either way, that somebody has started to take action. I can't help but think of the series of mysterious deaths. The first 2 years were just coincidences. Starting with the third, I think Takano-san became intrigued and started expecting something to happen out on the night of Watanagashi. Watanagashi is the day after tomorrow. Be the perfect opportunity for them to do something. She's aiming for Rika-chan on the 5th year running. This Takano is a frightening woman. What Rika-chan said about Takano-san, I think it's all true. I just found out just today, but she was adopted by Dr. Takano, the one who discovered Hinamizawa syndrome. Same pronunciation, huh? I see. To her, continuing to research the syndrome was like a promise she made to her beloved grandfather. But as the project will be terminated, it's almost like they're spitting on his grave. That's exactly what Rika-chan said, isn't it? Yes. Also, Takano-san said something else. She compared a dying patient in a coma to the project that's going to end in 3 years. She says that family members have the right to turn off the switch on the life support machine. Trapped near your base breaks your enemy's morale, but you either use the traps leading away from your base, or if you really want to mess with your enemies, you set up traps in your enemy's base, right? Well, the thing is, they don't know where the enemies are. They know who they are, but they don't know where. So it's kind of rough to set a trap in, like, a van inconspicuously. But you know, they can set traps around their house. If the project is being terminated anyway, Mio Takano, who considers herself a family member of the late Dr. Takano, should be the one to terminate it. Yes, I think that's what she meant. We're gathering the circumstantial evidence we need. Takano is, in fact, our enemy. Iri had been reluctant to accept it yesterday, but now he believes that what Rika-chan said is true. We need Tometake-san to find some proof that shows Takano-san is planning something. Then we can call in a subjugation squad to arrest all of those involved. Takano has the mountain dogs working for her. The squad can down even them? Yes. I don't know anything about them, but there's another unit called the Bloodhounds. They're a combat unit, deployed on the case of the true emergency. The mountain dogs are more of an intelligence unit for covert operations, so they'll likely be far outmatched. If this subjugation squad was organized to counter the off-chance of rebellion by the Secret Research Institute, then they must be quite powerful. So you're saying our conditions for victory are summoning these bloodhounds into Hinamizawa? That would be correct. However, my one concern is that the emergency manual contains passages authorizing the massacre of the village to preserve secrecy. I'm still worried that even if the bloodhounds are brought in, they'll destroy all evidence, including the village itself, which wouldn't be any different. No, they wouldn't. If the enemy's intent is to trigger the execution of the emergency manual, that doesn't make sense. If this conspiracy is caused by faction infighting, then Iri Institute's client will want to resolve that conflict quickly. They're sure to raid the enemies and settle everything while the villagers are still confused as to what's going on. I know this because I've done similar jobs. They'll pass through like a gale and complete their operation swiftly. And a unit capable of pulling that off against the mountain dogs must be very powerful. One quick cut, but at that point, it's assumed murder. Yeah. We'll just have to wait until we hear from Tometake-san. Yes, this will be a battle of endurance, but once it lights up, it'll become a blitzkrieg? I guess that's close enough. That'll be a hard battle with rapid shifts in pace. It's reassuring to us that you're in the enemy's midst, but at the same time, you are in a very vulnerable position. Please don't let your guard down. The moment we decided to be Rika-chan's allies, we became their enemies. I understand. Just a spoonful of sugar makes the engine gum up. The phone at this house, of course, being wiretapped, so Iri has to come over to communicate with me. But that won't work in an emergency. A telephone is still better in that case. For those instances, I've put together a memo for Iri. There's a method for communicating over a phone that's been bugged. It's something I came up with out of necessity once. What is it? Or what is this? A method for calling me in case of an emergency. Please make sure the enemy doesn't get a hold of it. If you're in danger, swallow it. The phone's being tapped, so how can we make a call? If you pick up the phone, even if you don't say anything, they might get suspicious. We can communicate even without me picking up the phone. There's a little trick to it, but we can at least send across what's important. And you are the only one who can do it, since you'll be the first person who notices the enemy's movements. Alright. Then, how do I do it? It's in the memo. Let me explain briefly. We'll use the ringtone. When you make a call, normally you won't let the phone ring over a minute. We'll use that to communicate. If the phone rings for a minute, that means it's dangerous. Leave. If the phone rings for a minute and a half, that means an emergency. Head to the Sonozaki residence. The difference is in those 30 seconds. You can look at the memo for other messages you can send, but please memorize those two at least. My life depends on it. Just me vehicles are very, very, very easy to break. Yeah. But it's a matter of like finding it and then sneaking up to it without anybody noticing. Because it seems like it's a van that's full of like a bunch of different men, so there's gonna be guys in like in the front seats, in the back, and like it'll be very hard to sneak up on a van. as far as I can tell. I don't know. The message that lets me know my life is in danger is the shorter call. But if it's too short, then I'll get confused with regular phone calls. That's why to signal me, he's supposed to hang up the phone within 30 seconds first, then place the emergency call. The reason why I used such a large difference of time is to make sure there is no misunderstanding. The tones the caller hears and the rings the receiver sends out are a little different. I don't want that little difference to change the message, which is why it had to be 30 seconds apart. A short ring first in 1 minute means run. A minute and a half means to head to where Rika-chan is. Okay, got it. It's a little troublesome, I know, but this is just for emergencies. Please remember it. Yes, I understand. When danger strikes, I'll handle communications. Also, one more signal I want you to remember. It's not a very good code, but please don't forget it just the same. For this one, you don't need to do one short ring. You don't need to you just need to let the phone ring for over 3 minutes. It's probably best to just place the call and leave it. What does that mean? Contact in danger. Further contact impossible. So that's to tell you that I'm in danger then. Yes. In case of an emergency, call this house, leave the phone off the hook, and hide somewhere safe. Even so, it's very hard to anticipate when you yourself will be in danger. You'll lose your chance to call while you're thinking, I'm still fine, or I'm probably fine. If you sense something odd, that's an emergency. Knowing the seriousness of the conspiracy, they won't hesitate to kill us. Please be careful. I understand. But if that happens, what are you going to do? Depends on the situation, but I'll probably leave this house. If you are in danger, then Nika-chan is in danger too. I'll head to the Sonozaki residence and join Nika-chan. But this is only in the worst case scenario. I'm not sure if it'll actually happen, so don't be nervous. Relax, okay? But also be very careful, right? That's right. Edie nodded deeply. It's almost time. Something is about to happen. Well, being the only moving vehicle in a city block is very suspicious. That's true. That's true. Because, like, really, you don't really hear about cars. I mean, I guess you do hear about other cars driving in this game. But, like, mostly it's the van or the police. Or Takano. So that's it. Does anyone have any questions? I have plenty of questions. This could easily be one of those well-planned pranks. What I heard is just that extraordinary. But right now, it's a bad idea to ask questions just out of curiosity. That would be a waste of time. Mion had already explained everything about the events surrounding Rika-chan. Well, I have a few things to ask myself, as a successor of the head of the Sonozaki family, because all this has something to do with a series of mysterious deaths. But I won't go into that for now. All in all, that was a good idea to come to my house. You can survive a nuclear war here in the basement. There's electricity and a telephone there too. Of course, we have plenty of food too. If the mountain dogs are really that tough, then this house is the only place in this village that's safe from them.
I'm sorry to have involved you all in this.
Nika-chan apologized from the bottom of her heart. Nika-chan has been dealing with a strange disease, this Hinamizawa syndrome, as well as all those suspicious Tokyo people, all by herself, until today. She's been trying not to get us involved, and that's why she dealt with them all by herself. We can all imagine what she has been feeling, so none of us can even think about anything to say. The silence went on for a while, but then Hanyu clapped Rika-chan on the back.
Rika, you're apologizing so much since yesterday. If you apologize one more time, you'll have to treat me with an ice cream puff every day. Oh, well. Besides, we all feel bad, don't we? Am I wrong, Katie?
Hanyu suddenly addressed me. I could tell from her eyes that she was expecting something from me. Right, my role is to act as the flirt for the other club members. Or the flint, not the flirt! It's my job to burn strong and bright red to get everyone excited. What have I been doing? Just sitting around? That's right, Rika-chan. We've never even thought of all this, that this could be true, so we were just shocked for the moment, but we were all thinking that things are getting interesting. Right, guys? Satoko, this right here is the real deal. You've got some good traps lying in wait, don't ya? I know you've been hiding amazing ones for special occasions like these. This is a perfect chance to try them out, don't you think?
You should be grateful for my presence. I don't know who they are, but if this is all right to get serious, then I won't hesitate to launch the countless miraculous traps I've refrained from using on our club members. That's right! Your traps come in with Mitan's seal of approval. They can chase away even a real army.
Well, Satoko aside, you're pretty merciless yourself, Rena. You're usually so easygoing, but I know your true power. Yeah, when you get serious, you might be the most powerful of us all. You sure are something. I don't even think I can defeat you. Traps and sabotage can be used to gather information. At this point, it's information warfare, and tricking people is my specialty. Yeah. Well, the thing is, they have like 2 days.
Oh, stop. Your explosive impact is incredible too, Keiichi-kun. Your power can defeat a fate that I have no chance against. If Keiichi is a furious red flame, then Nena-san is a quiet blue one.
Hey, that's a good one. The Burning Red Ranger, Keiichi Maebara, the Burning Blue Ranger, Nana Ryugu. This is our chance to show the world what we got. We're a powerful team with a powerful leader. Right, Mion? We're already powerful individually. And when we gather, we're invincible! That's our club, right, guys? Are you gonna be a Yellow Ranger, Meal? You know, I kept quiet thinking I might be imprudent, but actually, I've been thinking, this is getting super interesting. I appreciate this, Rika-chan. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. How dare they even think of stepping into Hinamizawa without saying hello to us? I'll make sure to teach them some manners. It had only been 5 minutes since Rika-chan apologized to everyone and brought the mood down, yet our morale was already at its peak again. We're up against such an absurd conspiracy, but if we're together, I think we can defeat it. This is the best feeling ever! Honey was the one who started all of this. She's quite the promising newcomer. She knew exactly whom among us to get motivated first. No. Moreover, while even our senior members were hesitant about taking in such a huge opponent somewhere in our hearts, she alone remained unflinching and raised our spirits. She's likely to grow even more formidable in the future. 2 days, that's more than enough time to set stuff up on the fly. A box of carpeting nails can do a lot of damage. That's true. But yeah, they have to be smart about this. They have to make sure that they don't find out about them.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for believing me.
Of course we believe you.
Alright, of course we believe you. I told you that already. If we didn't, we wouldn't be your friends.
Then there's no need to thank us, Rika. I don't know who's talking. Yeah, she's right. Listen to Hanyu. You've got great spirit. I like you.
Hello.
I rubbed Hanyu's head. She laughed as if I was tickling her. Okay then, let's huddle. We have to get things organized. First, Rika-chan and Satoko are supposed to be absent from school because they're sick, but in reality, they're hiding here. This is just a preemptive measure. Nobody would even guess that they were hiding here, thanks to a certain Akasaka.
How nice of him. He came because of the promise he made 5 years ago. That's kind of cool. Oh, I'm a little jealous. He isn't my type, but I'm a little jealous too. Me, it's not like that though. Totally not. It's not like I wish that I was an adult body. Ah.
He works for the public safety of the police headquarters in Tokyo, and he belongs to a secret unit, right? That sure sounds reliable. Being part of a secret unit makes it sound even better, too.
Akasaka is very strong. He's definitely reliable.
But Akasaka-san's role is more of a protective one in case of emergency. Tomitake-san has a more important job of finding out things about our enemy. He's our true attacker. Plus, he's the only one who can call in the Bloodhound to take out the enemies. In other words, Tomitake-san is our key to victory. It's It's a bit unsettling to think that so much is riding in the hands of some dumb cameraman. Everyone teased her by saying that they're going to tell Tomitake. She called him that.
Poor Tomitake.
Smarter to just make them think you're stupid. This is the trick I use sometimes. If they know you're smart, they'll be sneaky. But if they think you're dumber than a box of rocks, they won't try hard. They'll be tricky.
It's not that I don't expect to succeed, but I think we should come up with another tactic, just in case. But Hanyu, what else can we do other than count on Tomitake?
No, Anyu's right. Tomitake-san is a key factor for the enemy's point of view, too. If they find out he's investigating them, they might even have him killed. This is enemy territory for him, too, after all. I think we should come up with something else, instead of just depending on Tomitake-san.
Very true. It's hard to score with just one trap. I usually set many traps to deal with many different possibilities. That's basic trap tactics, you know. That's true. There's no need to limit ourselves to just one angle of attack. We should look into other methods besides what Tomitake-san is doing. But we don't know anything about Tokyo, do we?
Well, if one of Tomitake-san's important jobs is to summon the Bloodhounds, I'd like him to teach us how to call them. Then, even if Tomitake-san is taken out by the enemy, we can still meet our victory commands? I think. Conditions. I was like, I know commands isn't the right word. Yeah, that sounds about right. Tomitake-san is really important. At the same time, he's our Achilles heel. Let's talk to him and make him tell us how to contact the Bloodhounds. Problem is, he's holed up somewhere in the city and there's no way for us to get a hold of him.
I think that's a great idea, though. The next time we get a chance to talk to Tomitake, let's ask him. So, that's the first plan. Is there anything else?
Before we knew it, Hanyu was making sure we moved along with our proceedings. Denna noticed that too, giving a pleasant smile to the girl trying to be part of our group. This one is just insurance in case something happens to Tomitake-san. Let's think of a different angle of attack. What about something that would help us his investigation?
Oh, how intriguing! We'll launch some kind of trap, grab them by the tail, and thrust-proof they can't talk their way out of in their faces. My, what a perfect trap situation! If I'm the one they want, why don't you use me as a decoy? It's dangerous, but Takano and the others need me, so they'll definitely fall for it. That really is dangerous, but that would prove Takano-san is after Rika-chan.
Have them see her and make them chase her. That could lead to something interesting. And that's where Satogo's hills come in.
Oh. Once they come up here, they'll be in a big trouble.
You said it. Boy, will that be a sight to see. This is gonna be great. And where your greatest advantage is to be underestimated. Yes, plant illegals. Oh my gosh.
That should be our final method we use, though. Once we barricaded in the hills, the situation will change quite a bit. This should be our last resort. She's right. The traps in the hills are great as a defense measure, but that's all they can really do. They can't attack the enemy for us.
The barricade on the hill is our last resort, huh? Very final resort for when the enemy attacks this location. We have no other choice but to leave. By the way, we have an underground tunnel leading out that's connected to a well in the back. Just thought I'd let you know. Wow, your house is amazing, Neon. Oh, this is really getting crazy. The enemy is a mystery organization. We have a secret operation, a secret base, and now a secret underground tunnel? Wow! This is just the sort of thing that gets a guy excited.
Hello! I'm not a guy, but I'm excited. Okay, now we have 2 ideas. We'll come up with more. Can anyone think of anything else? Hello.
Let's see. We want at least one more. That last one is a rather defensive tactic, too. Isn't there something more aggressive that's perfect for our club? You know, some way to hit them real good. An awesome blow that'll set back their conspiracy.
Can we pull off something like that? Yeah, I'm sure we can. We're not as powerless as you think, Rika-chan. It's not like we don't have cards to play. You're their ultimate objective, and you're with us. That's one crucial card on our side. And not just in the sense of using you as bait.
That's true. It's a huge disadvantage for them that we have the Queen Carrier. I mean, what's their goal? Kill Rika-chan, trigger this emergency manual to eliminate the whole village, and use that chaos to their internal factional wars, right?
Probably. I don't know. You tripped over your words like crazy, Neon. Yeah. To them, Rika is like the fuse on a stick of dynamite. They want to set the dynamite off, cause chaos, and use that to gain something for themselves. So if we keep it from exploding, we win. That's gonna be pretty tough. You're right. We have to continue defending her, but all they have to do is kill Rika-chan in any way. It's like a soccer game with a goal on only one side.
To denounce this unfair game for what it is and call in the Bloodhounds is the point of the Tomitake operation, right? Isn't there a goal for us, though? Where we defeat their conspiracy? There must be something. Sometimes it works to think from the opposite point of view. Oh? Oh. There is one. Mion started to grin in a weird way. Here she goes. The winds are blowing stronger on her side and she's getting into better than top form. Miona's pretty smart. She is great at analyzing situations. That's why, when Rika-chan first told her everything, she immediately decided that there was no way for us to win and became depressed. However, while Mion's easily crushed, she's also able to exhibit incredible power when the wind's on her side. We created that tailwind, and now her sail is receiving the push it needed. Let me confirm this one thing, Rika-chan. That emergency manual was designed to prevent all the villagers from going insane within 28 hours of your death, right?
Yes, that's its purpose. Huh? Rika has never died before, so how do they know something like that will happen within 48 hours? She's right. Yeah, that's really strange. How can they say for sure all the villagers will go crazy within 48 hours? Well, according to Takano, something similar apparently happened in another country, and that's where they got the 48 hours from. I have no idea, though. Actually, Iri said he doesn't understand it either.
Ah, could it be? I see. I know their weak point. I see it too. Yeah, that's right. This is their blind spot.
Eh? What are you two talking about? I don't get it.
I don't get it. I don't get it either. I don't know who's talking. Hey, Rena and Rika-chan, don't you understand? Why don't we put the last person to figure it out through punishment, huh? How about you, Hanyu? Haven't you figured it out yet?
Yes, I have. That's why Rika is important to Takano. Oh, that's a hint for you too. Oh, here's a hint for me as well. The enemy's intention is to cause a disaster in Hinamizawa. They intend to do so by using this emergency manual. In other words, this manual is, in fact, the enemy's Achilles heel. Yep, I don't get it. Ow. Rika, if you apologize for everything you've done to me, I'll tell you. No way. Stop that ow-owing. I want to concentrate.
What? Haven't you figured it out yet, Rena? Listen, our attack depends on Tomitake-san, and that's our Achilles heel. On the other hand, the enemy's attack depends on the emergency manual. So if we destroy the foundation of the emergency manual, do you see? We just have to make the emergency manual lose its function.
Hello, what is the meaning of the emergency manual? It's supposed to hide the existence of the syndrome by making it look like a disaster. So that's why they have to wipe out the entire village within 48 hours. That's what the enemy intends to do, at least. So you're saying we have just to stop them from executing the manual within 48 hours? But those 48 hours don't start until I'm killed, so I need to outrun them for those 48 hours? Yep.
Hey, you two are already saying the answer. You good? Let's say the answer out loud. Everyone ready? Here we go! Rika-chan has to die 48 hours prior. We all said it in unison. Boy, we're good at this. We never mess it up.
I know. I got it. I got it too.
Rena and Rika-chan clapped their hands together. They finally figured it out. Why did it take so long for us to come up with this?
Oh well, we finally got it. We should have come up with this on the first try. We've been speaking only on defensive terms, so I thought we might never think of this idea. Hello.
Oh? Listen to you! I love you even more, Hanya. In recognition for your achievements, I'll reward you with our club's special order cross medal later. Anyway, let's talk about the operation. Their goal is to execute the emergency manual. Hidden in that goal is actually a huge weak point. The foundation of the manual is the notion that the villagers will go crazy within 48 hours of the Queen Carrier's death. In other words, if nothing happens in the 48 hours after Rika-chan's death, then the foundation of this emergency manual collapses. That's it, to say the least. Nobody really wants to do such a terrifying thing, but if they don't execute the manual, the villagers might go mad and spread the surrounding communities. They're hesitant to execute it, but they want to keep the damage to a minimum. But what if they find Rika-chan's body 48 hours after her death? The major premise of that the villagers will lose their minds within 48 hours of the Queen Carrier's death will collapse.
Fortunately, Rika is hiding here, so it's possible for us to lie about her death.
Then the last time Rika-chan was seen was yesterday at school. It'll be 48 hours after that in the early morning of the day after tomorrow. It'll be perfect if her body is found around that time.
I see. It's possible to fake Rika-chan's death with the help of Oishi-san. Indeed! We'll ask Oishi-san to send out an announcement that Rika-chan's body has been found. It has been at least 48 hours since her death.
Well, it might create some issues if he announces it publicly, so we can just let the ED Institute know. Coach is on our side, so it should be possible to deceive them.
That is... What an idea.
Once the emergency manual loses its credibility, such a horrible operation will never be approved. In other words, the weak points are the emergency manual and Rika-chan.
Oishi hasn't agreed to help us yet, but I know he will. How? This will be such an amusing trap. I can just picture Takano-san running around in a panic. Takano believes Satoko and I are sick in bed with a cold, but as she hasn't actually seen us, she's just assuming it's true. But as it turns out, we were somewhere else, and suddenly my body shows up having been dead for over 48 hours. This is going to be super thrilling.
The masterminds will have to accept the failure of the emergency manual and withdraw. That's when the hunters become the hunted. By that time, Tomitaka-san will find out something about the enemy.
And he'll call in the bloodhounds to defeat them. That's our goal.
All right! I can smell our victory from here. Man, how perfect is this? This is all gonna work out. I'm sure of it. Yes, fake a death to start chaos, just like crying fire. Yes. We all encouraged each other with a hip hip hooray. This is definitely getting really, really interesting. Still, what's key is that the claim of Rika-chan being dead for 48 hours is believable. For that, we'll need Oishi-san's help. I'm gonna take a sip while it's transitioning. With my squeaky water bottle. Right as we thought about asking him, he arrived at the Sonozaki residence. Oishi-san knows that Rika-chan is hiding here. He also knows that some members of the Mountain Dogs have infiltrated the police station. They've even wiretapped Rika-chan's home phone, so the safest way to contact her, he figured, is in person. I saw Dr. Iri earlier. He told me to tell you that Akasaka-san is doing just fine. He's grown a lot in the past 5 years. He'll hold down the fort. Oishi-san loosened his tie while drinking his barley tea. I bet he never thought he'd end up drinking a glass of that barley tea at the home of his old enemy, the Sonozaki family.
So, Oishi, what do you think of our 48-hour operation?
I think it's a pretty good idea. It'll shake them up quite a bit. In their panic, they'll make mistakes for sure, and that'll give Tomitaka-san the chance to get a drop on them. No, it's really a great strategy. They say 2 heads are better than 1, but with all your young minds together, you've come up with a fantastic idea. Oishi-san laughed in admiration and assured us that the operation would definitely make an impact. However, he hesitated a little too. This is a pretty sink or swim, you know? Whether we win or lose, I'll have to take responsibility. I'll do my best to pull out the splinters, but if I don't do a good job, I'll end up pretty in deep. I have to resign myself to that. In our 48-hour operation, Oishi-san ends up bearing most of the responsibility, and the police are a strict organization. There's no guarantee they won't investigate. Oishi-san is planning to retire this year. He needs his pension in order to pay off his mortgage. He's at a very delicate point in his life. While this is a big deal for Rika-chan, it's also a lot to ask of Oishi for. He has to risk throwing away everything for their sakes. Shit. This operation is a great idea, believe me. But I just can't.
Oishi, if it's too much, you don't have to accept the part. We don't want to win by using you as a sacrifice.
Well, okay, I guess Hanyu's invisible today. Nobody knew what to say to him, but Hanyu broke the silence. She's full of energy ow-ow-owing during our club, but at times like this, she also has the power to heal the hearts of those who are hesitating and growing weak. It's like being enveloped in a mystery embrace. If her appearance matched her level of maturity, Hanyu would probably look like a mother.
Besides, we're members of the most powerful club in the world. Even if the 48-hour operation can't work, we're sure to come up with another idea straight away. Right, Mew?
Yeah, that's right. Oishi, you can say no, okay? We shouldn't have gotten all excited over this without even considering your situation.
Yeah, that's true. Oishi-san. Or I'm sorry, Oishi-san.
Then a whisper to me while watching them talk.
Hanyu-chan is good at this. Who could say no when a cute little girl says stuff like that to them?
Eh? What? Do you mean... Is that what Hanyu is trying to do?
Meave, she's even more sly than I am.
As Oishi-san moaned and groaned, Hanyu looked over and grinned wickedly at us. I take it back. This girl, she really is sly. Hanyu is more dangerous than I thought. Next time we do a club activity, I'll really have to watch out. Please let me sleep on it. There's someone at the station I really trust, so I think I'll discuss it with him. Don't worry, he won't rat me out. If I agree to this, I can't make any mistakes, so before I do, please let me think over the chance of success. Oishi-san never makes promises unless he's sure he can keep them. That's why he speaks cautiously, but considering his position, it was certainly a decision that required courage.
Don't worry, Oishi. Even if you lose your pension, Mion will take care of it. Won't you? Mew. If he is going to help us, we have to do that for Oishi. Mew.
Well, yeah, no. Despite how I look, my family is pretty rich. We've got 2 sly foxes. Our club's going to be the epitome of a free-for-all in the future. The meeting ends with that. We'll find out if we can go ahead with the 48-hour operation or not by tomorrow, depending on Oishi-san's answer. We haven't heard from Tomitaka-san yet, but I'm sure he started his investigation on Takano-san. The coach and Akazaka-san have to wait patiently, each surrounded by the enemy. They're both in very dangerous positions, so I'll just have to pray for their safety. And then there's Takano-san. I'm still having a hard time believing she's involved with such a vast conspiracy. If someone told me the whole thing was a lie, I might even believe them. That's why I want Tomitaka-san to investigate. She's mysterious and a bit cold, but she can be fun to be around. Also, I've always thought of her as one of the villagers. It hurts more than a little to suspect one of your own. I can understand what Tomitaka-san is going through. This doesn't have to be an investigation to confirm her guilt. Instead, I want him to prove that she is not guilty. It's too painful for people to doubt one another. Meanwhile... Hello. Sorry for making you call me so often, First Lieutenant Tomitake. That's okay. Anyway, did you find out anything? A background investigation usually takes a few months. It can't be rushed within a day or two. But Tomitake sensed that something huge had started to make its move over after what Rika and the others told him, and it was definitely getting closer. But once it was close enough to see, it would be too late. That was why he was checking on their progress so frequently. We're still investigating Major Takano as we speak. When she took a position in the Alphabet Project, her background was already investigated by a different department, so we've requested those documents to be handed over. The entire team is investigating what she's been doing since the time she joined the project. Please give us a little longer. I understand. However, the situation is urgent, so please work as quickly as you can. Yes, of course. By the way, we got an emergency order to investigate the Yeti Institute today, unrelated to your request. It's our top priority now. The Chief of Staff requested it. The Chief of Staff? And it isn't related to my request? Yes. Well, it's supposed to be the separate matter, but from what I can see here, I think it's a powerful boost from the top towards your investigation. The Chief of Staff is helping out? What does this mean? The only thing I can assume is that the top members of the JGSDF have realized the power of the conspiracy surrounding the Yeti Institute. Like Rika-chan said, if this conspiracy's intent is to execute the emergency manual, then the opposing camp will try to stop that from happening. My request for an investigation is the first step in putting a stop to their plans. So, if the masterminds were influencing the Chief of Staff, he'd probably try to shut my investigation down. But he's supporting it instead, which probably means that the Chief of Staff isn't my enemy. In fact, he might belong to the opposing camp. No, it's hard to say if he belongs to them or not. He might just be under order from the ones pulling the strings for the opposing camp. If that's true, then the enemy has already noticed something, and it's possible that they'll start exerting pressure soon enough. So how much can I find out before that happens? Dropping a helium tank is funny but scary. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that seems... Gosh, that seems terrifying. I know helium tanks are very light, I think? Maybe it depends on the size of the tank. I know, like, the tiny ones that you can get at party stores are very light. I don't know much about the top brass. Still, for the Chief of Staff to get involved, putting aside if Takano-san is guilty or not, I'm certain that something extremely big is starting to happen around the Yeti Institute. We're making progress on investigating the Institute. We haven't analyzed the date yet, but some of the financial records are suspicious. We don't know if it's just a simple paperwork mistake, or if someone is actually trying to juggle funding, but I have an expert looking into it. What do you mean by suspicious? Well, as you know, there's an account for the funds supplied to the Yeti Institute, but the numbers don't match up. It's possible that there's inflows or outflows of money that haven't been recorded. Besides that, there are reasonable dates on some of the receipts, or questionable dates, not reasonable. We're suspecting forgery. Funds are usually supplied annually. For example, if a budget of 1 million yen is approved, 1 million yen is supplied in April, and the facility manages those funds so they can keep things running for 1 year. So depending on how they use the money, it's possible to have some left over at the end of the year. If they only use 900,000 yen, they'll have 100,000 left. Then, for the following year, they'll be told that they only needed 900,000 yen. 900,000 yen should be enough. Furthermore, there should be 100,000 yen left over, so they should only need 800,000 the following year. Therefore, they then only get 8,100 yen. Then when April comes around, which is 2,000 yen less than the previous year. I messed up on some of those, but that's okay. You get the point, hopefully. As some of you have already noticed, the more leftover money you have, the fewer funds you receive the next year. Therefore, it's smart to use up your entire budget. But some people try to get by until the end of the year. If there is 100,000 yen left, then they try to make it look like as though they've used up the money, even when it's, in fact, in a safe somewhere. They report that they've used exactly 1 million yen, and they get another 1 million yen the following year. Yet, there is still 100,000 yen sitting in a safe. This 100,000 yen is called a pooled fund, or a slush fund. If they keep running with only 900,000 yen per year, then 100,000 yen will be added to the slush fund in the safe annually, and only a handful of people will know about that money. This is how public funds get embezzled or turned into private money. As we previously mentioned, the Alphabet Project is using this exact trick, and certain masterminds are pulling the huge amounts of public funding. To avoid this kind of situation, there is an audit of accounts performed every year, and the oversight is to ensure no one's fattening their pockets or creating slush funds. By the way, it's been said that the reason why civil engineering projects tend to start up at the end of the year so that they won't have that 100,000 yen left. But that's not relevant right now. The point is that they have to work hard to get the funds they want. I feel like this is actually like business practice things. The one I just kicked down the stairs accidentally just made a funny doink noise, but the one I dropped in high school shot off and went through a window, landed into a creep behind the school. Oh my gosh! I would imagine it would go like doink. Well, that's an example of having some money left over, which is certainly not bad. However, it can also be possible that there isn't enough money. After all, They're only granted 1 year's worth of funds, so they can't delve into a savings account like we do in our lives. That access money just doesn't exist. Therefore, an estimate report should never show more expenditure than revenue. If that happens, that means there is some extra money other than that what was supplied. That's how slush funds are discovered. Tomitake was told that it was still under investigation, but the Ieda Institute's suspicious financial records should be either case, or could be either case. The former would be fine. It's quite common after all. But if it was the latter, that could be something quite nasty lying beneath the surface. I just feel bad for Bentley, not his real name, but just a nickname got blamed and no one believed it. Oh no! In other words, it was quite possible that funding was coming into the Ieda Institute from someone other than the formal sponsors. To be more exact, there was a chance someone was interfering with the Ieda Institute by supplying funds. Ooh. Tomitake was having his men look into the possibility of Takano and the Mountain Dogs rebelling against Tokyo. While it was certainly possible for Takano to do so, because of her personal investment in their research project, it was hard to believe that the Mountain Dogs could betray their employer out of sympathy. For the dogs to take part in Takano's conspiracy, a huge amount of money would have to be involved, and the discrepancy that Tomitake's men had identified could be a sign of such. Hello. Sorry, I just received a report. You know Koizumi-sensei, don't you? The head of the old Koizumi faction. He passed away recently, which led to the faction breaking up. Do you know anything about the personal relationship between him and Major Takano? Yes, I've heard about that. But did you know that Koizumi-sensei and the late Dr. Takano had a personal relationship? No, I see. Now I know why Koizumi-sensei doted over Major Takano. This is very interesting. As a matter of fact, after Koizumi-sensei's death, his private accounts were liquidated, and they found some withdrawals made by Koizumi-sensei himself, instead of the attorney who took care of his finances. It happened about half a year before the Ieda Institute's establishment was approved by the Alphabet Project. You always got to follow the flow of money. Yeah, I guess so. But apparently it's bad to have extra if you're getting funded. Didn't Koizumi-sensei use the money to make necessary arrangements beforehand in order to establish the institute? No, his attorney took care of the money for that, so the withdrawal wasn't made for that purpose. It must have been a very personal expenditure, considering that he bypassed his trusted attorney. So could that involve the relationship between Koizumi-sensei and Takano-san? Does that mean Koizumi-sensei supplied funds to Major Takano personally? Yes. That's what we think, and we were trying to corroborate that as we speak. We think Koizumi-sensei gave money to Major Takano for purposes other than the necessary arrangements for establishing the institute. So you're saying it's possible that Major Takano has a huge amount of cash at her disposal to help investigate a revolt? To establish the institute, Major Takano adjusted things with various organizations, but she did all that through legitimate means. So if she didn't use any of her personal supply for that, she should still have the whole amount at her disposal. I'm sorry. You did it, Rocket! Congratulations! Congratulations, you got a crit fail! You timed yourself out for a minute. Congratulations! I'm sorry, but what was that amount? 1 billion yen. What? I'm very close to Takano-san, but I had no idea she was so rich. Actually, she's rather tight with her money. She never acted as if she had 1 billion yen just sitting around. But then, that money isn't just money to her. It's a form of support from her dear grandfather's friend, so she'd have to save it for when she needed it the most. If the new board of directors had even a little interest in her research, she would have used the money on them, but they simply laughed at her. So Takano-san gave up on bribing them. Instead, she decided to use it now, because her research project was going to be terminated anyway. With 1 billion yen, it might be possible to bribe the Mountain Dogs. If she has sponsors, it'll be even easier. Her grandfather couldn't complete his life's work, but she's planning a magnificent conclusion for it. Shit. Those can't be her true intentions. Someone has to be deceiving her. Takano-san, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't notice your sorrow, even though I've been right beside you.
Don't blame yourself, Tomitake.
And where was this yesterday? Right? The dice was finally like, okay, you want a 1? Here you go. Okay. Now to save, because I didn't save last time. Sorry, for a second I was like, did I hear an ice cream truck? There's never been an ice cream truck around here. But I don't think I heard one.
I think my ears are going wild.
The preparation for tomorrow's festival is moving right along at the Frude Shrine. Vans and pickup trucks are bringing in tents and equipment, and the village youth groups had some middle-aged men are unloading them. I heard Rika-chama's really sick. I hope she's okay. I hear she didn't go to school again today. I hope she gets better soon. Ah, Dr. Iri, how is Rika-chama doing? Well, she had a bad cold, but she's starting to get better. She still needs to take it easy, though. I just went to see them, and I told them to stay in bed. I see. Satoko-chan is sick too, huh? With both of them staying home and sick together. I'm sure they can't help but playing around. Considering they got sick at the same time, Rika-chama and Satoko-chan are really close, huh? Ah, Kimiyoshi-san! Dr. Iri just told us that Rika-chama and Satoko-chan are starting to get better. Oh, I see. That's good. By the way, about tomorrow's performance, you don't think she'll be able to do it, do you? She says she's going to anyway. If you asked her, I'm sure she'd be more than happy to oblige. But as a doctor, even if she didn't have a fever today, I'd rather not let her do it. That's no good. Oreo-san, Rika-chama is getting better, but she still has to stay in bed. Well, that... Can't force her and then see her collapse during the ceremony. People will say it's the curse of Oyashiro-sama. Well, the villagers are really worried. They say they might be a curse again this year. Besides, it's Setsuko Hojo-chan and Rika-chama, you know? Some people are imagining some really horrible things. Nitwits! Rika-chama is the reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama. If she was cursed, the whole village would perish. Well, don't even suggest things like that. No, you're right, I'm sorry. Dr. Iri, can I go see them? Please let them rest for a while. They're recovering, and they're at the age where they'll want to play. Someone visiting them would be too stimulating, and they're sure to get out of bed. I see. I guess I shouldn't, eh? Doctor, please take care, pardon me, of them, alright? Not just Rika-chama, but it's Satoko-chan too. Really? That's surprising. Oreo-san always acts as if she doesn't even see Satoko-chan, but she just asked me to take care of Satoko-chan too. On your water bottle, there's a small hole. Put your finger over that when you drink. Or if you're careful, please don't do this. It'll make a mess. Do the same. Blow into it as hard as you can. The hole? Let me see. But then it does that. Because there's pressure. But I don't know. That might... Maybe that'll be better than it going squeak. I don't know. Sure, absolutely. I'll make both Rika-chan and Satoko-chan better. You can count on me. Something happens, people will say it's the curse of Oyashiro-sama. Hey, Dr. Iri, don't you think it's foolish to talk about things like curses when we're in the 1980s? When people have gone to the moon? Yes, I do. During the dam conflict, we used stories like this for our own needs. The dam conflict is over now, but as long as we keep talking about the curse, the dam conflict will never end. Are you saying that if Satoko-chan dies, people will say that it's the curse of the dam conflict? The dam conflict is over. If a village kid gets cold, it's the elder's job to worry about her. That's all. I already know what Oreo-san wants to say. I want her to actually say it. But if I made her, she might get angry. This is more than enough. When she talks about the dam conflict, she doesn't just mean the war they waged against the construction itself. She's also including how the Hojo family was ostracized after it was over. She's saying that the dam conflict is over, including everything that happened as a result of it. And that's why she told me to take care of Satoko-chan. Oh, removing pressure from the water bottle will make it scream more. Well, no, it has the... Because... Screaming is quieter now, but like... Yeah. Blowing it would make the water shoot out, yeah. I figured that much. I'm sure Satoko-chan will appreciate your concern. That was Edie saying that. Like that little rascal will ever understand an old person's feelings. Oreo-san left, laughing. I wasn't the only one watching her leave. Kimiyoshi-san and some of the other elders did the same. They all understand what Oria-san wanted to say. The damn conflict is over now. Satoko-chan is a healthy girl. She's down with a fever. It must be a terrible cold. Dr. Iri, please take care of them. Since we aren't allowed to visit them, please let both of them know how worried we are. Sure, they'll be happy to hear that. I vow to myself. Takano-san is more than likely planning something for tomorrow, taking advantage of people's belief in the curse. I can't let that happen. The curse of Oyashiro-sama will end before it can happen for a 5th time. I'm sure of that. Oishi couldn't accomplish the 48-hour operation alone. He would need help from someone else. Oishi called up both Kumagai and the old man from forensics and told them everything. I know I'm repeating myself, but this is a dangerous bridge we're crossing here. If I get a simple warning, that's okay, but if I get reprimanded, they'll probably take away my pension. Hey, Oishi, I hear you always gather your colleagues at the mahjong parlor next door and threaten them every time you have a dangerous mission. It's the same old thing, right? Yeah, Oishi-san. Why don't you say if you don't want to lose your pension, leave while I count to 10 with more oomph in your voice, like you always do. Unless you say it right away, it just doesn't sound right. Well, this seriously is dangerous, Kuma-chan. Are you really prepared to lose your pension? Why don't you count to 10 then? Fine, I'll count. If you don't want to lose your retirement money, leave before I count to 10. 1, 2, 3... Okay. I got it, Kuma-chan. You're serious. But still, are you sure you're okay with it? Yes. I'm really psyched up for what I heard Akasaka say the other day. I became a policeman because I believe in justice. Someday I want to be able to talk about the things I've been through, like Akasaka-san does. A dangerous mission? That sounds fantastic. Besides, your ideas have never failed before. So if you think this operation will succeed, then I'm all for it. How nice it is to be young. You know, Akasaka-kun became quite the inspiration for him. You see, he keeps talking about how he wants to be involved in secret investigations now. Well, no. It's nice to be young, I guess. And invisible. And what about you? I'm in. Actually, unless I help you, this operation won't succeed. I've been neglecting my health all these years. Frankly, I don't think I have much longer to live. As a man, I want to do something grand before I die. Oh. That was the top piece for my water bottle. It's broken off. My. You two sure are fearless. That's why you declare Ichi even when 3 flipped Dora. What are you saying, Oishi-san? As a man, I can't refuse. If you're going to cut something, cut it right in the middle. That's what you always say. He's not wrong. Apparently got myself in a funny situation, but let's see how this pays out.
What's this funny situation?
I get it. If your necks end up on the line, I'll be responsible. I'll have to make some preparations first. You want to start this early tomorrow morning, right? I have to check with both forensics and the autopsy department. Oishi, when this is all over, you have to treat me to something big, okay? Of course. Look forward to it. But please make sure to be careful who you talk to, alright? They told me there are some spies at the police station. Don't worry, I know I can trust. Count on me for that, at least. Alright, I'm fired up! My detective spirit is burning bright! I had taken Oishi all night to come up with a decision, but these two had decided immediately. He couldn't help but question himself. Okay, I have some errands to run, so I'm going to get going. Kuma-chan, would you please take the old man home? Thank you for coming here with on your day off. Nah, don't worry about that. It's been a while since something got my blood boiling. In all the years of my life, this is the first big stage to really test my manhood. I'm not afraid. I'm gonna enjoy this. Where is Shion? I just realized, we haven't seen her yet. Thank you very much, old man. Kuma-chan, too. Oishi thanked them after seeing them off, although they couldn't hear. Hopefully he runs into her. Oishi stopped by a flower shop. He bought a bouquet of balloon flowers. Usually the purple ones are the most popular, and Oishi was fond of that color too. But today he didn't buy purple flowers, but got the unusual white balloon flowers instead. With the bouquet in hand, he headed to the cemetery across from the flower shop. The date was June 18th. The real anniversary would be tomorrow, but as Oishi had to work on Watanagashi every year, he usually commemorated it on the previous day instead. It was the day before the anniversary of the death of the old man, the one Oishi considered a best friend, a brother, a father. Every year, I promise you that I'll find your right arm, but I still haven't had any luck yet. Oishi spoke to the grave. Yo, I think the arm would not be in a good case to be returned. He laid the banquet of white balloon flowers down on top of it. But I finally got the chance to get close to the truth. You know, it's kind of funny. As it turns out, the Sonozaki family has nothing to do with it. I kept promising you year after year that I'd bring audio here and have her grovel and apology, but I was so wrong the whole time. I don't know what to say. You'd probably smack me if you were here. I thought I knew the winning tiles, but after countless safe discards, I got slammed with a bad hit. If I hadn't made the assumption and focused on filling my hand, then I might have been able to get a big one. Sorry, Oishi makes me wanna yawn. Voice style-wise. I haven't made any progress at all. It's the same with Mahjong. I'm a fool for getting ideas into my head and then doubting them even a bit. Oishi already had a vague idea. The way Edie had phrased it, he could already guess. There was no dark secret behind the old man's dismemberment murder. The event that followed were separate incidents. That particular murder was an individual incident, and had nothing to do with anything else. Since the main culprit was the only one who wasn't caught, Oishi needed someone to blame, and the mysterious Sonozaki family was the perfect target. The drama of revenge that Oishi believed in never existed. Thinking of doing something really dangerous. Considering the risk, there isn't much in terms of reward. If anything, I might find out the truth. But I feel like I can finally forgive myself. Oishi bowed deeply to the grave. And then he heard footsteps behind him. It had to be someone else who knew the old man. That person can't come on the day of Watanagashi every year either, so they come on the day before, just like Oishi does. They always bring blue hydrangeas. Purple balloon flowers and those blue flowers don't go well together. That's the reason why Oishi always picks white ones. Usually the hydrangeas are already there by the time he arrives, but as Oishi had his secret meeting with Kumagai early in the morning, he came straight to the graveyard afterward and arrived before this person did. Visiting a grave isn't a race. It's a spiritual matter. Oishi was curious about the other person who brings flowers every year, so he looked up.
Well, doesn't Oishi feel silly?
Well, are you visiting someone's grave too? Oishi stated the obvious, but from one glance, he could guess everything. Upon seeing the hydrangeas in her arms, it all made sense. Oh my, aren't you supposed to be working? What are you doing here? Akane Sonozaki laughed as she handed a bouquet of hydrangeas to her daughter, Shion. Shion, not knowing what to do, was caught between her mother and Oishi. Hey, how long are you going to stand there? Come on, move over. Oishi moved over as told and spoke. So you're the one leaving hydrangeas every year? Aren't they beautiful? They're from my backyard. Hydrangeas are beautiful in June. Your balloon flowers are fairly unusual. White ones, huh? They're nice. Ah, Mr. Oishi, excuse me. Can I put the flowers down? Shion knelt down in front of the grave and got the flowers ready. She put the hydrangeas in the vase alongside the balloon flowers. The flowers looked beautiful in the vase together, reminding their onlookers that summer was about to start. What a coincidence. They match very well. It makes a nice contrast with the white and the blue. I saw blue hydrangeas every year I came. I think I mixed them up. I thought blue flowers wouldn't go well with purple ones. I see. Then we should get along just fine, huh? Yeah, I guess. What's the matter? Anything unusual on the x-rays? You're being unusually quiet today, and it's disturbing. Oh, do you think that might be it? Since you've been good to us, I'll bring some hydrangeas to your grave too. Don't worry, I don't know who's talking. Oh, by the way, you still owe us at one of our shops, don't you? I'll bring a bill too. Oh boy, you two never run out of things to say, do you? Well, I don't plan on leaving this world quite yet. It won't be long until my retirement, but I'm still going strong. That's good, then. As a citizen of Okinomiya, I'm glad to hear such reliable words. Their conversation should have been coded in social courtesies, yet something felt a little off about it. Can you tell me one thing? The Guardians and the old man, the site manager, they don't get along, do they? So why bring flowers for him? No, we didn't get along at all. We were mighty enemies. Right, Shion? Yeah! That old geezer was a bastard that pissed me off. I bit him, I elbowed his stomach, and even scratched up his car with a 10-yen coin. Shion, the statute of limitations isn't up yet. Shion stuck out her tongue and hid behind her mother in embarrassment. So if you hated him so much, then why did you come here? Well, the damn conflict is over. Although he was our enemy, we did many unpleasant things to him too. I think the Path Lothian shock bracelets would work better. I've been stuck here for 20 minutes. I've been going to get my housemate smartwatches so I don't get stuck like this again. Ah. I think they'll maybe. Well, good luck on getting the smartwatches. I haven't got one before, but like I've noticed they're like popping up more and more recently, so they're getting popular. What? You don't get it? The war is over now. Even in a rugby game, once a game is over, no one is on opposing sides. Nothing more than that. Akane said it as though it was a normal thing, but Oishi just couldn't understand. First of all, they hated each other. They spat at each other. How could they even feel like bringing flowers to his gravesite? However, Akane said that it was normal. Their moral standards weren't matching up. Actually, you're the one I can't understand. I think the damn conflict has ended, yet in your head it's still going, isn't it? Oh no, it's over for me. I can't even imagine hearing all that noise anymore. You've got to be kidding me. Then what's wrong with the Sonosaki family visiting his gravesite? Come on, move over. I brought something for him too. Akane took out a small package from her bag and put it out in front of the grave. You see that package every year? What's in it? This is ohagi, specifically made by the Virago. Oh, that's why there was so much extra made. Drinkers usually don't like sweets, so she made them without sugar. Are you saying that Oreo-san made ohagi for the site manager's anniversary? She does it every year. You did just say that you see it every time you come here, didn't you? Oishi was stunned. Oreo was the biggest hardliner in the Onigafuchi Guardians, no question about it. Oishi had believed for a long time that she was the mastermind behind the old man's murder. Because of that, he just couldn't believe that she had been making ohagi every year for this anniversary. Hey, don't give me that look. Hey, let's not do this anymore, okay? Do what? Pretend that the Sonosaki family shouldn't visit the site manager's grave. It won't be long now until it's 1990. By then, even the Emperor might be dead. How much longer are you planning to drag out this war, which has already ended? Please, I don't even want to think about the damn conflict. There's nothing better than peace. The government was at fault. They should think about what they've done. But we were at fault too. That's why we have regrets. And when things are done, that's it. There's no point in dragging them out. We need to wrap up the era of our forefathers, and young people need to create a new one. What happened was very unfortunate, and I regret the old man had to die. If he was still alive, we would have shared a toast together and made up. But he's dead. So we can't reconcile. I think that's very sad. This is the age of information. Why the hell is it so hard to get a hold of a Zoomer and 2Gen Ys? Oh no! Well, that's what happens when someone dies. But you're still alive. That's right, I am. And so are you. Then maybe a day will come when we can get along, huh? Well, I don't know about that. Shion, why don't you give this to the priest, and then wait in the car, okay? Sure. Akane took out an envelope from her pocket and gave it to Shion. Shion took the envelope, bowed to Oishi, and then ran off. During the damn conflict, I thought she was such a feisty little girl. She sure has grown up. How long do you think it's been since then? She's hit puberty, and we even went bra shopping together. I keep mixing up who's talking. She isn't a little girl anymore. That's how long it's been. Yeah. Many years have passed. Time is dense for young people, but diluted for old folks. The old ones are the ones who don't change. But young people keep growing, and before we know it, they pass us by. Then we simply withdraw ourselves and watch over them. See how it works? Yeah, I guess. Can't believe I'm getting a talking to from the Dark Princess of Shishibone, Akane Sonozaki. Hey, I can't believe you still remember that name. I'm a lady of Shishibone nowadays, you know? I'd rather appreciate if you kept that name to yourself. Yeah, I guess, since the damn conflict is over now, huh? That's right. It's all over. The two of them watched Shion and the priest exchange words in front of the main temple building. Both were silent, but the air between them was comforting. There was no breeze, and a cabbage-white butterfly filtered around them. Or flittered, rather. You're supposed to be at work, but how about around? Up for some fresh cold sake? Maybe not today. I have to drive, and so do you, right? That's too bad. Well, maybe next time, eh? Yeah, next time. Something that has been sitting inside Oishi for a long time had started to dissipate. Something that had coagulated was melting away. Not going to lie, the mother's kind of hot. She does look really pretty. I think I would be held by her.
I would lay in her lap.
I better get going. Your daughter is waiting too, right? Yeah, she is. We've gone through a lot, but let's forget all about it. How about that? We'll have a party one of these days. We will. Akane turned around with a big smile on her face, but all of a sudden it changed into an impish grin. Hey, Officer Oishi, since we made up just now, I got a traffic ticket yesterday and I was so mad that I ripped it in half. Do you think you can do something about that? Just go to the nearest police station for that. Maybe I can give you a priority spot in the waiting line. What are friends even for, huh? Their laughter echoed under the blue sky. Man, that's sweet. That's cute. Man. one that might be applicable, but I don't know. It's getting a season 2 this summer, which I'm excited. I'm very surprised that it's getting a season 2 before Hanako-san does, but you know. I think it's because of the art style that Hanako's taking a long time. I hope Hanako gets a second season. I really hope so. Does Hanako count as not mainstream? I don't know if it does or not. If it does count as not mainstream, then that would be the answer. But if it is mainstream, then it won't count as the answer. Mainstream is run-of-the-mill, but non-mainstream is special. If you know about it, it's something that says something about you. Yeah, Nyaruko. Oh gosh, it has a longer title. Like, I know the word crawling is in there, but it's Nyaruko-san. Koi wa Chaos is the opening for one of the songs, so that might help a little bit. Yeah, Hanako-san. Toilet Bound Hanako-san is one of my current favorites that I'm like hoping that the second season comes out. But like, I'm a little behind on getting the volumes. Had that on a watch list, but was like, what the hell is this thing? Yeah. It's because, okay, it's taking a moment to step aside from Higurashi at the moment. So that's the title because it's based on like a ghost story thing where it's like, you know, there's this ghost in the stalls. So he's based on that, but it's like, you know, yeah, it's folklore. But yeah, it other than them being in the bathroom, there's not really that much toilet stuff going on. There's mostly the 7 mysteries at a school is the most case. So like there's like a specific step that'll send you to the shadow realm essentially. There's like this library that only shows up at certain times. I'm like trying to have this without going into like too much specifics. And, you know, Hanako is the 7th mystery of the school, being, you know, you go into the bathroom and you knock on the stall and be like, I want to make a wish, and it'll make it come true. But, like, someone's messing around. I like it. It has, like, it's kind of, I think it's technically, like, a shoujo anime, but, like, I like it. And the art style is really cool. Yami Shibai was cool, but, I'll have to look into that. I have to add it to my ever-growing list of animes that I need to watch. Because that list is huge. Okay, let me see. Ooh, that looks spoopy. I might still check it out. Anyway, like the extra step you can only see going down the stairs after school hours. Well, it's like, I can't remember which one, but you have to like not step on a specific step or that'll send you to the shadow realm and you'll get spirited away. People will not remember that you existed. But he hasn't done any of this visit. His behavior towards me has changed. Maybe it's because he heard about the horrible impression I left with the new board of directors. Maybe he thinks I'm a mad scientist because of that incident. I can feel that he's gradually losing interest in me. Another quick pause. This one of the stickers on my tail, this like black and pink one, is a reference to a Hanako character. Anyway, enough distraction. I had my own complaints too. When I don't want him around, he's so persistent. But when I need him to listen to me, I can't get a hold of him. But if I did get through to him, what would I even talk about? How could I talk to him about, or what could I talk to him about right after talking to someone about the plan to assassinate him? Why should he ever even answer my call? I'm simply running wildly, and when I reach the point of no return, I'll wait to be forgiven. And I want him to do that for me, just because he always does whatever I want him to do, and he shows up whenever I need him. Who would forgive someone like me? Someone who has nowhere to go but hell? Would he forgive me? Out of sympathy? No way. While he'll be surprised, he'll do his job and arrest me. I'm a member of the SDF after all, so what I'm doing is committed treason. I've been thinking about him a lot for the past few days, and just now I realized something. He's not attractive at all as a man. He has no sense of humor or good taste. He has nothing but He has nothing. Absolutely nothing. Well, he has a belly, but there's nothing appealing about him. He doesn't care about my schedule. He's persistent, and when I treat him nicely because I'm in a good mood, he becomes even more persistent. There really is absolutely nothing about him. So wait. We usually see him as buff, but he has a tummy. In the text, he has a tummy. Hold on, I'm trying to log into my verbal. Oh my gosh. Okay. Despite his age, he tells me things like how the last time he held a woman's hand was when he did folk dancing at some summer camp. Furthermore, he says those things to make me laugh. He's hopeless. But more than anything, I can't stand when he completely ignores my feelings. I want to be alone sometimes. I don't want to do anything sometimes, yet he drags me out, completely ignoring how I feel. That's why even when I'm exhausted and I don't feel like doing anything, I end up going with him, which makes me laugh. I always thought that just wore me out, yet I want him to drag me around. I'll probably never feel this way again, and yet he's not here. Do I really believe I don't want to spend time with him? Maybe I've just grown used to his abundant affection. When he took me out on a day I didn't want to do anything, I was in a bad mood at first, but after a while, I had started to feel better and found myself having a lot of fun. If he was with me now, would he take me out to photograph birds like always? Would he happily explain it all with his know-how, even though I didn't ask? It'd be very boring and troublesome, but that's what I honestly want right now. Do I see my grandpa in him? I loved my grandpa. He gave me a purpose to live. I needed him. I loved Uncle Koizumi. He helped me with my dream. I needed him. After both of them died, maybe I just sought their aspects in him. Am I starving for a protector? Maybe I'm so traumatized by my parents' accident that I need to have someone nearby to watch me all the time. Maybe I'm still immature. My inner child is throwing a fit because she can't put together a toy, saying that if it's going to be broken anyway, she's going to break it herself. It won't just be my problem. I will bring about huge, irreversible tragedy. But that's the only way to prove the truth of my grandfather's work. That belief allowed me to prepare up to this point. In just a few days, the top members of the government will be scrutinizing my grandfather's article, and terrified by the worst-case scenario he predicted, he'll regret canceling our research and neglecting countermeasures as they pass their final resolution. That's when my grandfather's article will become truth, his great work uplifted, and his name carved into the pages of history. And then he'll become a god, an eternal existence. And I will reveal the god worshipped as Oyashiro-sama to be the Hinamizawa syndrome, casting them down to earth. I'm going to complete the 5th curse of Oyashiro-sama with Jiro-san's death, as well as my own. I'll become the one who curses, not the one who is cursed. I'll be in the position to test, instead of being tested. I will ascend to godhood. I'm going to make a curse a reality, and I'm going to kick the god of this place off her throne. And then, grandfather and I will be together forever. Gods don't get tested. Fate doesn't test gods. No grief will separate us. I will be with my grandpa forever. After that, we're going to work on our research together in that study, filled with the smell of formalin. A scene from happier days. Grandpa's at his desk, writing down something. I'm in a good mood, lying on my stomach on the carpet right behind him, while flapping my legs and humming a tune. I help him with his research by organizing his books as if I were playing with blocks. To return to those times is my only wish. Of course, if I could go back that far, I'd want my parents to be alive too. If I could play with my grandpa's books, while listening to my mother cooking in the kitchen and my father flipping through his newspaper, that would complete my happy world. It would be my ideal childhood. But that world doesn't have a door to the outside world, so I can't go over to my friend's house, because if I did go to my friend's house, there wouldn't be anybody there when I returned. Nobody, because they'd all have died in a train accident. So I don't want an outside world. I want to stay in my house with my parents and my grandfather. I am a doctor, after all. I can analyze myself. I know that what I'm wishing for is proof of my immaturity. But if I know that much, then why do I still long for a parental figure in Jiro-san? Even as I plan an operation which includes his death, I'm still trying to hang on to him. If I'm going to betray people so I can become a god, then I should remain a villain until my final moments. But if I'd rather be a lonely little girl, then I should remain modest and humble until my final moments. Either way, if it is my way of life, nobody can criticize me for it, because if I believe it is right, then all I can do is go on without listening to such criticism. But I still can't decide, so I want somebody to criticize me. Nobody has ever criticized my way of life. That's why I want to hear someone do it. I want someone to tell me that my way of life is wrong. I want Jito-san to tell me that I've done such a stupid thing, and I want him to slap me. Such masochistic desires speak a great deal as to how I'm rejecting my present self. Am I really still longing for a parent? I'm too old to call myself immature. Even if I do, nobody else will. No matter how immature I am inside, people will treat me as a grown person. They will say I possess an adult's responsibility and proper judgment, and that they've brought me this far already. Then I'll be judged before the devil. Will I still plead not to judge my immature self as a grown-up? Am I going to act that pathetically even in front of the devil? I'm already going to hell, yet I can't completely become a devil. I hate the idea of hell, yet I refuse to try and repent. My mind can only float in a lake of blood, drifting as I drown. If only Jito-san was here. My mind would clear up as I played along with his insensitive chatter. Why isn't he around when I need him the most? This is the last chance I'll have to spend time with him. I hate how immature I am, becoming so insensitive just because he isn't around. Stab Life, Great Escape, and Interviews with Monster Girls are the two animes that I've been watching. I still need to watch interviews with Monster Girls. I think I have that on my list. I don't remember where. I don't remember either way, but yeah. I found myself before the offertory box. I came here when the Erie Clinic's construction had ended and the research at the Erie Institute was about to begin. I remember how bravely I challenged the god of this place. I was full of hope and ambition. After going through many hardships, I finally came this far, even vowed I would become a god. I did so in front of the god of this place. I can vaguely recall my grandfather telling me a story similar to that. That's right. It was the story of the Tower of Babel. When there were only one language in this world, all people lived in one place with one will. In a display of their authority, they started to build a tower that would reach heaven. God got angry because these people had forgotten how to show respect to him. He believed all of man gathered to commit such an affront because they all shared one language and one will. So their communication was shattered. People were thrown into disorder, and they were given many different languages so they wouldn't be able to communicate with one another. And as they couldn't communicate with each other, many left, and the tower which challenged heaven fell to ruin. Something like that anyway. I'm not sure what the lesson is, but this is what my grandfather explained to me. Building a tower that reaches up to heaven is the greatest challenge for humans, but it is also a challenge to God. To challenge God was truly sinful, but as humans we couldn't help but test that untrodden peak. You keep an actual list not you keep an actual list, not watch anime based off your vibe. Yeah, well, the thing is, I have a list, and then I watch an anime based on my vibe. Like, I have a list organized by year of release of the anime. And then I watch a new anime that looks interesting. It's not easy to build a tower that's high enough to reach heaven. While they're building the tower, the people will fall into disharmony, and lose the mutual understanding they once started with. Their united wills thrown into disarray. This applies not to a group of people, but can be said about one person as well. No matter how solid their will, the closer they come to heaven, the more limits God imposes on man. So even iron wills are sure to waver at some point. It is just too arrogant for humans to think that they can always carry out their original intentions. That must have been what my grandfather was thinking deep down. I'm sure he lost hope many times since nobody ever recognized the value of his research. Yet he believed in himself, and he believed that someday his work would be appreciated. Maybe that was his wish, rather than reaching heaven. Grandfather realized that he wouldn't be able to complete his research, and maybe he was trying to find where he could compromise. Humans can't build a tower that reaches heaven, But the story of the Tower of Babel is still around. It didn't reach heaven, but we still tell the story of the tower that challenged God. According to the story, the tower was left behind with nobody to work on it. The incomplete tower stayed in that place for a long time, never achieving its goal. But if someone were to see it, they would realize how great it was that someone accepted that challenge and praised their name. I took over the tower from my grandfather and tried to make it reach heaven, but I ended up succumbing to the same fate. And if it's going to be destroyed anyway, I will try to destroy it myself. I spent whole days searching through Funimation, Verve, and High Dive, and just to find a good match for my vibe. Yeah, my vibe is like, I don't know, because there's animes where I'm like, oh yeah, I love the vibe of this, I want to watch it, and then I don't. Like, I have been wanting to watch Flip Flappers, but like I haven't. I've been wanting to watch like let me open up like a random date on my list. Let's go 2015. Like I've been wanting to watch Overlord. I've been wanting to watch like, which one is this? I don't know which one that is, but like just what? Whoops, I didn't read that. What am I doing anyway? If I hadn't tried to continue grandfather's research, his work on Hinamizawa syndrome would have remained forever. Even if it was an empty tower that nobody ever visited, if somebody did come by, they would praise whoever attempted that challenge. They would have praised my grandfather. But I took over his work, and I built the tower even closer to heaven, which made God angry, and the tower is now going to be destroyed. The tower will become a pile of rubble, and when the Idiot Institute is shut down, all of its records will be destroyed. My grandfather's wish for his work to be appreciated by someone will never be granted. I tried to make my grandfather an eternal existence, yet I ended up making that an impossibility. How can I call myself Mio Takano? Instead of inheriting the 1, 2, 3 from my grandfather and continuing to count to 3 and 4, I reduced it all to 0. If it wasn't for me, my grandfather's work would have remained an empty tower. It would have stayed in this world forever. But I ruined it. I did that. Watch Overlord for cute bug lady, or at least a skeleton dude with battle mates. I know, I have it, I had it on my list. People have told me to watch it. I haven't watched it yet. Like, it's a thing that I am interested in watching. People have recommended it to me, and I'm just like, haha, Shadow's house. Interspecies reviewers. I can feel myself sweating. The sweat reminds me that I have done something inexorable. When did I make a mistake? Where did I go wrong? It wasn't when I came here. It was before that. I started to walk down the wrong path long before that. If I put myself in my grandfather's spot, I know. My grandfather was working on a great challenge. He built a mighty tower, and it was supposed to continue to stand there and wait for someone to appreciate it. Grandfather definitely said he wanted his work to be valued by someone, even after his death. But I misunderstood. Somewhere along the way, I made a wrong turn. I misinterpreted grandfather's wish, and I ruined it. I ruined everything. I tried to make him an external existence, yet I destroyed him. Grandfather built an external tower, yet I raised it. Where did I make a mistake? What went wrong? It's obvious! My grandfather counted to 3, and with that it was complete. I simply tried to do more with addition, and everything collapsed, and now all of it is ruined. I shouldn't have tried to count to 4. I shouldn't have done anything. Besides, grandfather didn't even ask me to continue his research. A little girl shouldn't play in his dark study. Go outside and play with your friends. I remember my grandfather telling me things like that, but I refused, and I stayed in the study so I could help him. And eventually, he stopped telling me to play outside, and I just enjoyed having my company while he worked. But when we first met, he used to say things like that. Then what? Living with Grandpa was the first mistake I made? Then what? When I escaped the orphanage, I shouldn't have called Grandpa. I shouldn't have found a 10-yen coin. I shouldn't have asked Grandpa to help me. Now I remember. Now I know where I belong. Bang, 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 bang. Let's see. Is this a show I think you said I watched it on? Why'd you watch it on that? A noise of something metal striking something else is getting closer. It's getting closer and closer. I'm not allowed to fall asleep. It wasn't asleep, I just had my eyes closed, that's all. Sorry. Damn you.
I'm sorry, I won't do it again, I'm sorry.
Come on. Damn it. Bang. 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 Don't kick. I'm afraid of the metal sound. Please don't kick it. I'm not being kicked, but the noise is kicking me, so please don't kick. Don't kick the metal fence, please. My body is getting cracked. I think my body is getting cracked. All the dirty, itchy, and painful things soak into these cracks, and the filth and prickling feel horrible. It's soaking into my chest, gathering together. I desperately try to resist so it won't touch my heart, but the dirtiness and itching draw together more and more. My whole body is soaked, and soon enough my face will be swallowed. Even drowning in this dirtiness and itching, I try desperately to hold my breath, so that at least my heart won't be soaked with it. Damn it! Bang! 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 I can't hold my breath any longer. I drown in an ocean of muck, and yet, as I'm taking on the muck, my heart desperately struggles not to be tainted by it, to raise above it until my heart, too, sinks into the sea of grime. Only creatures that have lived on land will grasp and suffer the pain of drowning as long as they return to dry land. Creatures that have always lived in the ocean never drown. Grandpa won't come help me. That is the best thing for me and him both. I am See? When I stop struggling, there is no more noise. I don't have to hear that scary metal noise. Is it a roar or a yell? I needed to borrow strength to scream in order to come back to the present world. My body is all sweaty, feels dirty, itchy, and painful. It reminds me of that day. I can feel welts coming on as the sweat crawls down my skin. No, it's just a delusion. It can't be itchy. Because all of that is over. I take a bath every day. I scrub my body until it turns raw and red. So not even the slightest drop of that horrible filth can possibly remain. I can't help it. I remember the filth. I can only get rid of it by scratching my arms so hard it leaves marks. I can't get rid of that itching. I can't get rid of the filth. Of course I can't. I'm a filthy existence. Grandpa should never have saved someone like me. Meeting me made him unhappy. I shouldn't have existed. I shouldn't have been born. I should have stayed inside that metal fence and spent my whole life there. I need to go back inside of it. I should have never left. That place is where I belong. Corner me with that horrible metal noise. Crush me with that filth, itchiness, and pain, and then kill me. So that I never meet Grandpa. If you chose what video game you get isekai into just by being the last game you played, which game would you make sure is your last? Oh. Well, I would hope it's not. I hope to not be in Higurashi. I really hope not to be. I would probably make sure to play Animal Crossing. Is that your wish? Yes. Much like those left behind at the top of Babel's crumbling tower, or Icarus, unable to reach heaven only to fall. That is my final wish. Bring me back inside that metal fence, and give me back the fate that's suitable for my filthy existence. The wish of a liar will never come true. But I'm not a liar. You have spoken your true wish once, yet you have yet to realize that's your greatest wish. And I cannot grant that wish just yet. Are you saying that's the punishment we sinful humans face for challenging God? You should already know. The strength of your desire is what creates the future. You lack that strength. Are you saying I haven't tainted myself enough? Will even the gates of hell remain shut for someone not fully committed like me? Rika-chan, Satoko-chan, how are you feeling? It's Iri. As Akasaka warned me, I have to be careful. Akasaka-san opened the door silently. How are you doing? It's bustling outside, huh? Yeah. Everyone is busy getting ready for tomorrow's festival. I brought some shaved ice for you, courtesy of the refreshment stand committee. Let's have some. Thank you for that. I'll have some. Akasaka-san is wearing a t-shirt, but he's still drenched in sweat. All of the windows have been shut, and he can't even open the curtains, so it's very hot inside. But even accounting for that, he's still sweating like mad. Look at how sweaty you are. It sure is hot in here. No, I was exercising a little. Of course, I tried to keep it very quiet. I'm just staying prepared for anything, that's all. A little exercise helps to refresh people. I'm sure you've been under a lot of stress for the last few days. You must be exhausted mentally, too. No, I'm used to this kind of thing, but I really appreciate you bringing in some stuff. Akasaka-san smiled like a happy child as he ate the strawberry-flavored shaved ice. So has there been anything yet? Have you heard from Tomitake-san? No, nothing yet. But Takano-san was saying that she can't get a hold of him. That's right. He changed his hotel, huh? Do you think she's noticed something? No, I don't think she has. I told her he's probably just going around taking pictures. It's only a matter of time before she becomes suspicious. There'll be a strong wind soon, one way or another. Dr. Iri, please be very careful. Yeah, of course. Oh, by the way, I just saw Oishi-san, and he told me to tell you something. I explained the 48-hour operation to Akasaka-san. Akasaka-san seemed impressed with the notion, especially because I told him it came from the girls. That's a fantastic idea. That'll shake up our enemy quite a bit. It'll give Tomitake-san a big opportunity to find out something too. So, when is the operation going to take place? It'll be decided when they meet with Oishi-san tonight. But since we don't have much time, it may be as early as tomorrow morning. I see. It's pretty stressful just waiting for a battle to begin. If there is something we can do, we might as well just do it. Your time in Hinamizawa is limited too, so how much longer can you stay? I told Yuki that I should be home by midnight on Sunday, but if the situation changes, I might have to stay here longer. She's a policeman's wife. She'll understand. You can't even call her from here, huh? Sorry to put you in this situation. Don't worry. It's not like we're newlyweds. She won't divorce me just for not calling her every night. Although he says that, it's easy to tell that Akasaka-san wants to hear the sound of her voice. So, have there been any changes on your end? If there's anything you need, I'll bring it. I really don't need anything yet. Any changes, well, it's hard to say. There are just too many people going in and out of the festival. Even if there's someone suspicious among them, I can't tell. We just assume that our enemies are hidden among them, so we should be on our guard. That sounds about right. By the way, the mountain dogs are starting to move, just as you said. When I asked Okunogi about their plans, he said he's raising the security level for the days surrounding the festival to take into account the possibility of some criminal might use the 5th year of the curse to target Rika-chan. That was a long sentence. That matches the situation right now. It almost looks like all the preparations, officially and unofficially, are going smoothly for tomorrow's festival. So you're saying tomorrow is going to be a festival in more ways than one, huh? If the 48-hour operation gets underway tomorrow morning, it'll be quite the turbulent day. Yes, everything will change, starting tomorrow. June 19th, 1983. A tempestuous day that divides a peaceful world from a tragic one. The fate of the world will change on that day. I finished my secret meeting with Akasaka-san and left while calling up the second-floor window, pretending to address the girls. When some villagers saw me do that, they asked how they were doing. They asked me about both girls, which made me very happy. What Oryo-san said yesterday was already spread among the villagers. In other words, the curse of Oyashiro-sama may have already lifted, even before tomorrow's festival. If nothing happens tomorrow, then this village is finally free from the curse and the ghost of the dam conflict. As we prepare for the upcoming battle, I realize the extent of the responsibility we've taken on, but at the same time that gives me strength. After greeting officials under the main tent, I ran into Takano-san after heading back to the clinic. It's unusual for her to be here alone. If Tomitake-san was with her, I could understand, but she'd never come here by herself. For a moment I thought maybe she suspected a connection between me and Akasaka-san, but it didn't seem that way. I'm relieved. This is unusual. What are you doing here?
Nothing, really. I'm just taking a walk.
I see. It's a nice day today. I bet it's a perfect day for taking a walk.
I wonder if Chiro-san is taking a walk too.
Those words had a strange nuance to them. Takano-san normally only spends time with Tometake-san out of politeness. At least, that's how she's been acting. So when I heard her say that, I was a little surprised. Maybe so. He's from Tokyo. I'm sure he's enjoying the fresh air and beauty of Hinamizawa.
Director, do you have any idea where Jiro-san went?
No, I don't.
He didn't come to the meeting last night. It was a good thing someone else was there to take his place, but he should have been there. He's neglecting his job, don't you think?
This is going in the wrong direction. I have to change the subject. Well, I'm sure he needed a little break. I bet he wanted to be alone, just like you.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think that went well. She didn't ask about Tometake-san after that. When I look around, I can imagine how lavish the festival is going to be tomorrow. Wata Nagashi is the biggest festival of the year around here. It's grown in scale ever since the dam conflict ended, and this year, the village festival is hitting a peak. I'm sure villagers of all ages will enjoy themselves tomorrow. Takano-san and I overlooked that heartwarming scene. Tomorrow looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it will be fun.
The conversation was very ironic. We both meant something different as we spoke. I can hardly wait for the festival to start.
Yeah.
Fun festival is about to begin. I noticed an indescribably bitter smile on her face. I hope it'll be a nice day tomorrow. After all these preparations, it'd be a shame if it rains.
They worked so hard to prepare for this grand festival. A little rain won't stop them.
Yeah, I guess. There'll be a festival, no matter the weather, huh?
Yes, there will be a grand festival. I'm sure of it.
Oishi-san had agreed to participate. In other words, he had given us the green light. Good job! I bet you had some difficulties. Nah, not really. He actually agreed pretty easily. Boy, how nice it is to be young. I was the only one who struggled to make a decision. Pitiful, huh? We can't turn back anymore. I'll give it everything I have. Oishi-san was always a man with great presence. He seems pretty reliable when he's that determined. This will work. This operation will be a success. The enemy is unthinkably strong, but we're going to the offensive first. It's like in sumo, right? No matter how huge the opponent may be, there's a chance the entire match can be settled in an instant with a quick shift in stance during the opening rush.
See, Rika? Doesn't it feel reassuring to have this many people on your side? I don't intend on refuting you anymore. I was almost ready to give up just a few days ago, but now I can't believe how much the situation has evolved. It just might be possible to change our fate after all. Rika, that's not good enough. You're right. I shouldn't say we might change our fate. We will change it. We will fight, or we will win. We will defeat fate. In any case, then the timing of our trap is extremely important.
What do you mean timing? We should act immediately. Tonight, it will have been 48 hours since Rika-chan disappeared. The longer we wait, the better the position the enemy will be in, so we should act as soon as possible.
That's true. If we are too careful, then we will give them more time. Our defense ought to be cautious, but our defense ought to be cautious, but our offense ought to be bold. It's very reassuring to have both of your seals of approval. So, what about it, everyone? No objections. I've steeled my resolve. I'm already over time.
Is it time yet? What do you think, Satoko?
We should go with haste, of course, but right now might be a little too hasty. If we are to surprise them, I think we should do it more carefully.
A surprise attack should take place at night. Is there any better timing than now? Calm down. You're both right. Surprise attacks usually do happen at night. But look at us now. We're still up, even though it's that dark outside, right? Night attacks are more effective than there was when there was no electricity. Nowadays, surprise attacks don't always have to take place in the middle of the night. There is even better time than that.
Is there really a better time for a surprise attack? Hello? I understand. A daybreak sortie, right?
Well, you know some interesting terms, don't you? It's true that the worst time to call someone is not in the middle of the night, but early in the morning. People can't even think straight when they're half asleep.
A surprise attack at dawn. Yeah, that's a great time to do it.
Yeah, I think that'll be the most effective. Knowing how Takano-san is, it's more than likely that she'll do something to make it look like the 5th year's curse. And she'll try it tomorrow night.
It's normal to try to get plenty of sleep the night before. I now know the perfect time to spring my traps.
A surprise attack at dawn. Man, that sounds badass. I've always wanted to do something like that. I'm fired up.
You're just like my men, Maimara-san. Hey, does that mean I'm the only man involved who isn't psyched? My oh my. Alright! Ready then? The 48-hour operation commences tomorrow at dawn. The question is how they will react. We'll be confusing them, and once we see their response, we'll attack. This is a raid.
Okay. As the leader of this club, I now decree that the 48-hour operation is now in effect. We will carry out our tasks at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. It'll get busy all of a sudden. All members should be ready for an immediate response. Prepare yourselves physically and mentally. And don't forget, the fate of Hinamizawa rides in this battle. The enemy's conspiracy could end up destroying this village. Huh. We'll never let that happen.
Yeah, well, we'll see how the enemy will react. Will they become demons or serpents? Maybe they'll become kittens. How cute of them! I don't think so. Something huge will happen for sure. This will be like a little earthquake. One that's a forewarning of a huge tsunami. You're right. I feel that little earthquake too. But we'll create that huge tsunami, and either the village or the enemy will be swallowed up by it.
We'll ride that huge wave for as long as we can. This 48-hour operation will be a shock to the enemy. They'll panic, their pace will be off, and they're guaranteed to slip up somehow. We don't know how they're going to slip up, but just knowing that they will, and preparing ourselves to act, gives us a full advantage. We're surrounding our enemies on this huge game board that is Hinamizawa. This game, this festival, will start with our siege. Come on, we're ready! We're ready for June 19th, 1983! Hey, Rika, have this many emotions ever gathered on this day? Actually, there were always this many emotions in this world. There are always countless numbers of them gathered in this forgotten June 19th. We just never realized it because we always looked at the world subjectively. There were so many people in this world, and each of them have very important emotions. Those countless feelings are collecting together and giving shape to this world, this fragment. With this many emotions, what kind of world will we see? What kind of fragment will we be granted? Who will win? Takano or us? The time to find out is now. Let's open it. Let's open the door to June 19th of 1983! Wow!
It's time to go down.
Wow! However,
it's only a few minutes until 6. And I feel, as much as I don't want to end, I feel like this is the best point to actually stop. It is a little early, but that's okay. So let's go over to the just chatting screen. Let us see. Bam. And I guess we'll be continuing this tomorrow, huh?
So, let me go ahead and find who is streaming, and then we can find somebody to raid.
a lot of the people that I usually raid are not here. But we do have somebody that I found recently. So maybe they'll be chill. We found a new person to raid. So hopefully they'll be okay. I'm trying to get past the ads. In the meantime, we'll do cliffhanger raid. With a little high emote. But yeah, I feel like this person's a good person to raid because they don't have too many streamers right now, so it's not too intimidating. But right now, she is she's reading old Wattpad fanfiction that she wrote. So I think that would be fun, right? But yes, we will meet up together at noon tomorrow to finish off Higurashi. I don't know how much longer we'll have. We might have an hour, maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. I don't know. We might have 3. But we will finish Higurashi, and then once that is done, we will play 999. Which will be fun. So I'll have to reflect that in my Twitter post, being like, hey, it's gonna be a little bit before we go into a death game. But you know, it'll be fine.
But yes. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for joining me today. Sorry I'm ending a little bit earlier than usual, but yes, that is the case sometimes for maximum story enjoyment.
I honestly didn't realize that it had already been 3 hours. That's wild.
But yes, we go say hello to Melly and have fun.
This timer is lasting longer than usual.
Farewell, everybody. Farewell. I will see you tomorrow.